and welcome back for our ninth episode of our podcast. We have a full crew today, for the most part. We're gonna have mostly me, Ruthless, and Raptor speaking, but we're gonna have Skull here, occasionally asking questions and just kind of listening to us just babble on for however long we decide this to be.
I mean, when it comes to like games later on, I do have a little bit of experience with one game that I started playing not too long ago.
Okay. Well, we'll get there. But we're going to be discussing Sonic the Hedgehog as, well, the franchise itself and just talking about the impact it's had on us as individuals. And this is gonna be a very fun and also embarrassing and cringy kind of topic for me because it's kind of funny when you have people talk about defining their childhoods, like they'll talk like SpongeBob or like Fairly Odd Parents, Zelda, or the other kind of stuff that it feels normal for that to define your childhood, but for me it was Sonic the Hedgehog. And it's a very weird relationship I have with the franchise now. But I was obsessed with this when I was younger. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't even because of the video games either. That's the sad thing. Like I came into the video games. I want to say with Sonic 06.
It's your thing's the comics.
Yeah, I mean I played some of the video games too. I'm not that much of a shut in for Sonic when it comes to like its material. I've played the games. It's
I
just
mean,
a lot of the experience I have with it comes from the comics, and what I prefer more is the comics to the video games because I don't know, the video games just didn't sit right with me when I was younger, just because I always got so angry with them. Well, okay, so before we get into like all that, I want to get your guys' opinions, like Raptor and Ruthless, because I know you guys have some experience or have dabbled in the franchise a little bit.
oh yeah, I'm not sure 100% what the first Sonic game was I've played. I do know that one of the first, at the very least, was Sonic Generations. I probably played the first one
Really?
before that. Yeah,
Like you didn't get into Sonic until Generation? That's quite a while.
yeah. I think I was, I think I was kind of little though when that game came out. Though I don't know. I'd have
So
to
wait,
look up when that came out
no,
again.
no, you're good. I've got this up. So Generations came out in 2011.
2011.
Yeah, it
So
was like the
yeah, I
20th
was still
anniversary for it.
okay. So I was probably like 7 or 8 when it came out. So still pretty
God,
young.
I feel old
I
saying that now. I feel so fucking old.
I mean, if it makes you
I'll
feel
be
any better, after the first Sonic game I played was Sonic Forces, which was released in 2017.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
but you're
Sonic
different.
Forces is not a good game to start with.
No,
I
it
can tell you that
wasn't.
right now.
But I mean, you're a different case though, Skull, because like you don't have any experience really with video games outside of Nintendo, and like it's Sega.
Oh yeah, Sonic Forces is on Nintendo Switch, correct?
That's why I started playing it.
Oh my god. Yeah, of course, I figured.
I'm
Um,
sorry, I got curious. Leave me alone.
you're good. I'm good. I may tease you a little bit, but you good.
Don't be a dick.
Hey.
Dick is a Richard. It's okay, Raptor. We tease in fun. We tease in fun.
Mm.
Ruthless, what about you? Where'd you come into the Sonic franchise on?
actually played. I think maybe the first game was the first Sonic or Sonic 2 because my parents had like all the Sonic games.
Really?
Yeah, because they were like obsessed with like like they were obsessed with most of the older like they were huge gamers.
Okay. Don't get to hear that too often.
Yeah,
Oh,
like they were one of those people. they were like one of those people.
Okay.
And granted, I'm talking about my adopted family. Yeah.
No, yeah, I get you. So I'm actually
Uh,
also going to amend a statement because actually looking at the lineup of Sonic games, I remembered something. It wasn't actually Sonic 06 that I came into the franchise on. It was actually Sonic Heroes that I came in on. That was like my first exposure to the franchise when it comes to video games. I did end up going back and playing some of the older releases a little bit later on, but no, yeah, Sonic Heroes was actually my first one. I take that back. not Sonic 06, Sonic Heroes was my first installment. It's probably also the
Yeah,
first Sonic game I actually beat too.
I remember now. Going back to me, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the first game I actually played was actually the first Sonic game because I remember my dad got me. I had a 360 at the time, and they had this game for the 360. It had like a bunch of classic Sega games in it. It was called Sonic's Ultimate Sega Collection or something like
Oh,
that.
I
But it
played
was
that.
more than
No, yeah, I
yeah,
gotcha. I played that too. So I
yeah,
agree. I did come. I like I said, I came back later and played all those games, but no, for you that definitely would have been the first thing.
yeah. Well, of course it has more than just Sonic games. Of course you should know that
Well, I
if you
mean more
played it
than just
before.
like the first Sonic game. Like there's a
Yeah,
little bit more, obviously, of like the older games.
yeah. But yeah, I remember playing at least a little bit of the first three on that bundle.
So my question to you is, since you played those old games, both of you, does the water stages ever bring back any PTSD?
yes,
Oh,
they
those
were
suck
annoying.
fucking ass.
Okay, good. I'm not the only one then. So moving on. Uh, let's not try to remember that because water levels in any video game just suck ass. Can we all agree on that?
Yes.
I have seen
Yes.
things that
1,000
no man
times
should
yes.
see.
Yes. Why? I thought we loved pain, you know? No pain, no gain.
No.
Okay,
Just
like
no.
some of
Come on.
us like pain, but not all of us.
Not everyone enjoys suffering, Ruthless.
Ain't that
I
the
know.
truth?
Yeah.
But what aside from that's where you started, what's your opinion on it from like based on like going forward playing the video games? What do you think? We're gonna leave out my experiences because I've played a lot of Sonic games compared to you two, it seems.
Yeah, you played way more, but well, to be fair, as a kid, I thought it was like decent. Now looking back at it, it's meh. A lot of them, a lot of the many. Granted, I have like vivid memories of them. Like I remember one with Shadow. It was definitely was like
Oh, was it the Shadow the Hedgehog video game or was it the Sonic Adventure series?
I think it was both. I was like,
Oh, Shadow the Hedgehog, is that where you
You run
the
around as
one Sonic game
Shadow and you gun everything down.
and you actually get the one Sonic game you get a gun? Yeah.
It's like Sonic, but with guns.
Hell yeah! Pop caps in people's asses.
Oh no. Oh no. All right, calm down, calm down. It's okay. But continue, Ruth. Let's continue.
yeah. I remember also some of the other things that came out. Like I even remember the. I try to remember the one video game where Sonic was like practically able to turn into a furry in the
Oh,
night.
that was Sonic
Oh
Unleashed.
god, Sonic Unleashed.
Yeah, I
It's
remember that one very clearly.
I like it's actually one of my like favorite ones kind of. Like I actually bought it again and went back and played it on the Xbox One recently.
Oh, it's backward compatible?
Yeah.
Huh. I'll have to remember that for later.
Yeah, no, I bought it more or less recently. Recent to me, but that's not saying much, mind you. Uh, I actually bought that again and I started playing it. I don't remember where I left off. I think I was in like the icy place because Sonic speed versus ice equals ice winning every time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that fun. But no, yeah, I definitely remember that one. I think we both remember that one very well. Sonic Unleashed.
Yeah, that one is very, very interesting.
I remember a lot of people didn't really care for it because, like, the whole point of like the Sonic games again is like to go very fast, and you get that during the daytime, but then it just like switches to like the super slow nighttime thing, and people just were kind of like put off by that. And I'm like, but I kind of like this. It's a little different.
I think I vaguely remember watching a Let's Play of Sonic Unleashed, and I've been curious ever since. Is it a game worth playing?
I think so. I enjoy it. I
It's
mean,
decent.
yeah, it's a decent Sonic game. I mean, you still have like the challenging day levels where you have to like get through it as fast as possible, pretty much, and then you have the night levels, which are a little bit slower compared to what you would get in other Sonic games, but it's not bad. I've never been able to beat it personally because I gave up on the Super Sonic ending phase, like how every game ends with you going supersonic.
Yeah,
Yep.
I found that
Hmm.
really tiresome.
Yeah, and I don't really remember that end section too well because I've just kind of blocked it out of memory because of like anger. But I remember I never was actually able to beat it.
Yeah,
So
honestly, I myself don't even remember the ending to Sonic Forces, but then again, I just want to erase that game from my mind.
I never play Sonic Forces. So
It's not that
Good.
bad, Raptor.
I
okay. So
fucking
to
hated the game.
you, Raptor, hold up here. So not Raptor, Skull. To you, it seems fine because that was your first game in the franchise.
Yeah.
So like you don't have anything else to experience it off of. I'd have to go with Raptor a little bit more on this one because I'm just like I've never played it. I've never had any incentive to. I've heard a lot of bad things about it, and I'm just like, eh. I
Don't
think,
get me wrong, I think the story was alright, but that was really all I found good about it.
which isn't saying much, right?
I mean, don't you do the same things for other games in the series, though, too, Raptor? That's not really, like, a strong argument if that's argued for pretty much every game in the series.
Your first game, Skull.
I mean, I do have to kind of agree with him a little bit. It is like your first game, so I'd say like once you experience the games a little bit more and see some other ones, and yeah, you know, just just experience the games a little bit more. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I think Sonic Generations was a good one.
It was okay. I didn't really care
That was
for the
fun.
gimmick of switching back and forth between like modern Sonic and classic Sonic. I mean, I get why because again, it was like was it the 20th anniversary? It was a big deal.
Yeah.
It was something that was like a little nostalgic for the older fans of the game that's been here since the beginning.
Honestly, I thought that was a bit creative to do on one of Sonic's birthdays. Or Sonic anniversaries, whatever you want to call
Oh
it.
yeah, the Sonic anniversaries. It's well, they had that one. They had Generations, and then they also had Sonic '06, which was the 15th one, the 15th anniversary.
Oh yeah, that did come out on one of the anniversaries. I'm honestly curious about Sonic 06. I've heard a lot of bad things about it, but I'd like to
Okay, so
play
if
it
we're
and get a
getting into
proper
this already, let me get comfy and let me get into this now, shall we? Are you ready to hear about someone talk about Sonic '06 for the next like 30 minutes?
Oh god.
All right,
Sure.
here we go. Let's go. No, Ruth already said sure. We're going Raptor. Okay, so I know a lot of people hate the game because one, it's very buggy, and I will admit I had some problems with bugs when I initially played it. I didn't forget about that because it was mostly during the Sonic portion of it. Because you get 3 different playthroughs you can go through. You can have Sonic, Silver, and Shadow. Which you needed to beat them all if you want to do like the super secret ending, which is where they obviously all turn super, Super Saiyan basically.
Yeah.
But basically, you have Sonic who is trying to stop Dr. Eggman, and Dr. Eggman wants to release the Flames of Iblis, the Flames of Disaster, which is currently sealed in a human princess named Elise. And Sonic's entire thing through the entire story is basically keeping her safe, but also developing a friendship with her, which for her it turns into romantic feelings. So it's like getting really weird up in here. But then again,
Um,
furries exist, and I'm kind of desensitized to all that at this point. So bring it on.
oh god.
That's one of the biggest things that people had an issue with. Like, oh my gosh, it's bestiality. I'm like, who fucking cares?
Yeah, that is kind of bestiality.
I mean,
That's
I
something I have
personally
to agree
didn't
with.
care. I mean, you see a lot of weird stuff in the Sonic fandom, and I'm just like, this is what you're complaining about? I've seen weirder shit than this. But
Yeah, to be fair, have seen some weird shit as well. I'm talking weird shit.
yeah, so ignoring that for a moment. And then you have Shadow, who I'm not quite sure what like his beginning path was supposed to be, but I think he was rescuing Rouge, and then Rouge came across this thing called the Scepter of Darkness, and it breaks because instead of letting her basically get a really bad concussion and possibly dying, he chooses to save her, but the scepter breaks, and it releases this thing called Mephiles, and Mephiles takes Shadow and absorbs it and becomes Shadow. Essentially.
Huh.
So, like, have you ever seen images of like another Shadow but like grayed stripes and no mouth and green piercing eyes? That's Mephiles. You might have also seen a crystallized version of him. Yeah, that's also Mephiles. But anyway, I do have to agree with some people who say that Mephiles is one of the best villains in the Sonic franchise. That's not a complete idiot like Eggman, but poses a very significant threat. But Shadow's whole thing is trying to stop Mephiles from destroying the world, essentially. Because Mephiles is basically chaos incarnate, more or less. And you have Silver, who I think is one of the last ones you unlock for a playthrough. But his whole thing is he comes from the future. And it's a future that's been destroyed by Iblis, the Flames of Disaster, the same flames that are sealed within Elise. And he lives in this future with Blaze the cat, the purple cat, that people like to draw really weird fanfic about, really fan art about, so we don't get into that. Something
Yeah.
about cat girls. I don't know what it is.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know, I said it. But basically, Mephiles finds them, and he's like, "Hey, look, you can save your future. You just have to go back in time and kill Sonic, or like the Blue Hedgehog, they were calling it. They didn't know his name, but basically, he showed Silver an image of Sonic, and he's like, "Yes, you have to kill this guy before he releases Iblis." So yeah, that's basically the whole thing. You have Sonic trying to keep Elise safe from Eggman. You have Shadow trying to stop Mephiles, and then you have Silver trying to kill Sonic to keep him from releasing Iblis. So it's an interesting storyline, I'm not gonna lie, but I do kind of love it. And I know I harped before on time travelers, people going back in time to fix things, but I think the one thing I really like about Sonic 06 in that regard is that the only one who actually does that is Sonic. Silver does go back in time with Blaze to save their future, but it actually does something different, which I do appreciate. So Sonic does go back, I think, like 5-10 minutes so he can hurry to save Elise because he was too late and the ship that she was on, which was Eggman's ship, crashed. And essentially she died, which would have released Iblis. So he goes back like 5 minutes to save her. So I'm just like, it's an oversight. It's fine. I don't care. If it's something like years, I'm like, no, that's different. But no, he goes back like 5 minutes to go and save her. So I'm just like, it's whatever. But then you have Shadow, who finds out how to seal Mephiles, but finds out he can't do that anymore because Mephiles is too strong since he absorbed Shadow. I am a fucking idiot, don't worry. And he's trying to get Shadow onto his side, and he's like, look, man, everyone's gonna turn against you. Why don't you just give up and side with me? And Shadow's just like, man, fuck you. I'm gonna keep fighting until they do imprison me. Which I do appreciate, because, like, it's Shadow. And then Silver takes the Chaos Emeralds. Well, mostly Sonic let him take them. He takes them back to his time, after he learned how to seal Iblis, he tries to seal Iblis in himself, but the flames won't accept him because, like, again, he's not royal blood, nor does he have fire in his soul. That's when Blaze is like, here, man, let me take those emeralds and do it for you. So she takes the emeralds, seals Iblis in her soul because she is a pyromancer. She's able to control fire and use fire for that matter. But as she's like sealing the flames within her, she tells him, send her away to a different dimension to get rid of Iblis. Silver refuses and can't really bring himself to do it. But when he refuses, Blaze just like, man, I always liked you, so this is goodbye. And then she sends herself away, and I'm like, damn it! That's when Sylvia started. So for anyone who ships Silver and Blaze, we all know where it starts. But then, like, once you complete all the stories, it unlocks the secret story, which, I mean, spoilers, but the game's, like, almost 2 decades old at this point, so take that with a grain of salt. But essentially, Mephiles realizes Silver didn't have the heart to kill Sonic. So if he wants to re-merge with, like, Iblis and become Solaris, the sun god, essentially, he has to kill Sonic, which he does. He actually kills Sonic in the game. Elise cries, which releases Iblis. The end of the world is basically coming down. Then Sonic and the gang have to collect all the 7 Chaos Emeralds. Well, not really Sonic, but like everyone collects the Chaos Emeralds. Elise wakes Sonic up using the Chaos Emeralds. And then Sonic shares the Super Saiyan energy with Silver and Shadow. They go Super Saiyan, and then they go to defeat Solaris in the past, present, and the future.
Damn.
Yeah, it was a wild ride.
Yeah, I like how you called them Super Saiyan.
It's basically what it is.
Yeah, I'm not. I was beginning to think, am I the only one that thinks that the Sonic, at least the modern Sonic franchise, takes a lot of inspiration from both Dragon Ball and Star Wars? Well, I wouldn't say a lot from the Star Wars side, but
I can't say for Star Wars, but I know there was inspiration from Dragon Ball with the whole like Super Sonic thing.
Are you familiar with the Death Egg?
No.
It's basically like an exact fucking Sonic knockoff. It's actually like, it looks like the Death Star, but it's like a giant metal
wait, the
Eggman
Death
case.
Egg? Yes, I do.
And it's called the fucking Death Egg.
Raptor, everyone makes fun of the Death Star. Everybody makes fun of the Death Star.
Yeah, I'm very well aware of it. Now that you said something, I'm like, yeah, no, I know what it is. But no, it's kind of something that's just done in general. Raptor people just like kind of poke fun, make cameos, Easter eggs, all that fun stuff. But I would say Sonic 06 isn't a terrible game. It's going to be very buggy, of course, but I mean, you've played Fallout games. I've played Elder Scrolls games. Like, what are bugs and glitches to us nowadays?
Yeah, especially in Fallout 76.
If it's like 76 bad, then it's like, bro.
Well, okay, so like I said, I had more problems with the Sonic portion of the playthrough than I did with Shadow and Silver. Like, Shadow and Silver I actually went through with surprisingly no bugs. I was kind of surprised at that because a lot of people complain about how they get like soft locked or the physics kind of screw them over with Shadow and Silver. But when I was playing through Sonic, I remember there were some bugs with like the ring dash, like how you know whenever like there's a line of rings and Sonic can just like dash right through it and just collect them all in a single line. Well, there's something in the beginning of the game where you have to ring dash to the first stage, more or less. And I always had problems like trying to get the ring dash to work for a while before it finally went and did it. So I know that bug. There's also these stages in Sonic's playthrough where you have to basically carry Elise and run at supersonic speed through the level. And if you do get caught up or stopped or anything, it's pretty much like stage failed. You have to start over from the beginning. There was a few times where I glitched through the map, and it resulted in a failure. So it was really bad towards the end of the Sonic playthrough where you have to like run through the desert. I remember there was one part where you got your checkpoint, and if you weren't careful, you could easily just run right through the map and glitch through it, and it just immediately like kill you essentially. So that part I remember getting caught up on, but I was able to get past that. So there's definitely bugs and glitches in the game, but I mean, I know back then it was a big deal because, again, like, you're not really used to seeing those kind of things in the games. Like, games really berated for that kind of stuff. But, I mean, we have the Bethesda series now, so, like, who fucking cares?
Yeah. Also, I'm pretty sure Sonic 06 was like huge at the time, at least, right? In terms of like
Technological,
graphics and stuff.
yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
technologically, it was a big deal. But I
but I
think
do know that
that's.
people like hated the princess and the hedgehog thing.
I personally didn't have an issue with it. Like, even when Elise did kiss Sonic at the end to, like, kind of bring him back to life, I'm just like, oh, cool. Move it on. Like, I personally did not give a damn. Because, again, like, you see a lot of weird ass shit in these kind of, like, fandoms. So I'm just like, who fucking cares anymore?
I've heard people
Yeah.
say like they didn't know whether what was worse, the fact that she kissed a hedgehog or the fact that she kissed a dead corpse.
I mean, do we want to bring up the tale of Sleeping Beauty?
I am not familiar with that.
You don't want to be. You don't want to be.
it-
You don't want to be. Especially if we get into the very oldest ones, that was like Sun, Moon, and Talia, I think it is. Like that's as dark as you can get. And let me tell you, Raptor, what Elise did
Oh,
is
honey.
nothing. It's absolutely nothing compared to that kind of stuff.
You have struck my curiosity.
Um, I'll send you a link to a video that goes over that. But it's very
Okay.
dark. It's very very dark. Basically, it's probably not safe for YouTube either. So you know. But moving on. So yeah, I mean, like Sonic 06, I think is worth a go if you're very curious about it and you want to like see if people are right to be so pissed off about it being so buggy and glitchy and all that fun stuff. But I mean, personally for me, I'm just like, it is what it was. I mean, and I'm not even blinded by nostalgia here. I'm just blinded by my obsession with silver. That's where my obsession with silver started. So, yay!
Now to get my hands on a 360.
I have fun with that. But no, I think Sonic 06, like, because I remember Silver's story was the very first one I finished, and that, like, I was obsessed with Silver. I was actually kind of sad when I didn't see him in more games after that. Well, no, it's not true, because you saw him as, like, an unlockable character in Sonic and the Black Knight, which you better believe I was so pissed when it was only released for the Wii. I was pissed. Oh my gosh. Because, like, I know I've mentioned this before, but I'm going to keep mentioning it regardless. But I love the Arthurian legends. And the fact that they made a Sonic the Hedgehog game based in Arthurian legend and only released it on the Wii, which was a console I didn't have at the time, made me so angry.
Ooh. Oof.
Oh, I was angry. Actually, if it wasn't for Slayer, because like we were childhood friends, mind you, me and Slayer, and if it weren't for him, because he had a Wii at the time, and he had the game too, and I'm like, holy shit, bro, I'm playing this game whether you want me to or not. So I was able to play it only because of Slayer. Which, thank
You and
gosh.
Slay, you and Slayer are childhood friends.
Oh yeah, our mothers were like friends way back then. Cause they used to work together, and they became friends through work, and like we'd hang out at their place and all that kind of stuff. So me and Slayer were like friends since childhood. So yeah,
Oh, oh damn! I didn't know that.
yeah. There's a lot of about things about me you still don't know. So it's probably for the best though in some cases.
Mm, fair.
But moving on from Sonic 06, like again, like give it a try if you're really curious about it. But I mean, just don't be surprised when it does glitch out on you because again, it's a very buggy game. But again, if you're used to playing like Bethesda titles and things like that, then I don't think you
Yeah.
need to worry. Or like what was it, Cyberpunk and things like that. Like
Oh.
I
yeah,
heard that game was really buggy, but I have never played it.
I have no interest in it, so I've never played it. But I've heard it's been very buggy, so I'm just like, eh. if like modern games are super buggy and we're complaining about an old game for being super buggy, then like, what are we doing?
It's
And
honestly
also,
a matter of
I've heard some very interesting customization options for when you're customizing your character.
I think we all have Raptor, but like that's something else entirely. We're talking about Sonic today.
Yeah.
yeah.
So my next question: has either of you played Sonic Heroes?
No.
Yes,
You have
I
Ruthless.
think so.
You think
Yeah.
the one where like it's divided into the teams? You have like Team Heroes, Team Dark, Team
Yes.
Rose.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. I remember vividly. It's very vivid. Like have very vivid memories.
I do like. I mostly remember like the beginning of the Sonic. But the one thing I really remember about the game that really kind of pissed me off when I was younger. Eventually, I was able to go back and beat it, mind you. But Team Sonic, Team Heroes, and Team Dark were the two hardest teams to actually beat the game with. Cause like Team Rose was the easiest. It was like baby mode, and then you had Team Chaotix, which was kind of frustrating at times because it wasn't really like get to the goal at the end like a lot of the other ones were. It was more like complete this objective and then you clear the stage. So like they were kind of like eh. But then you have like Team Dark and Team Heroes, and I'm just like, why? Why are you making me suffer like this? I don't even remember the ending to that game. I remember beating it, but I don't remember like the true ending. Did
I know.
was
I
that
know.
part
I
of
never.
the game? I don't remember like if you actually go like supersonic in that game or not.
I don't know either because it's just rare for me to finish a Sonic game.
I mean, I feel that. I
Yeah,
really do.
it's same for me as well.
Yeah. The last story reveals the plot orchestrated by Metal Sonic. That's what it is. Okay, that makes some sense. Damn, it's been ages. But I mean, that was one of the games I've beat. I've also beat Sonic 06, which that was fun. I also actually beat Shadow the Hedgehog too, which I was surprised with myself with that one because I mean, I know you've two played Shadow the Hedgehog, right?
No, I
Mhm.
haven't. Is it on 360?
I don't know. You'd have to see if it's backwards compatible because that was an Xbox original.
Oh, that was Xbox original?
Oh yeah, Shadow
Damn.
the Hedgehog was an original. That came out on the old Xbox, the very first Xbox.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to see if that's backward compatible then.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of fun hearing Shadow say "damn."
It's probably not backward compatible though, now that I think of it, because it's not as family friendly as the other Sonic games.
So it still got released regardless, and it's the
And it's
Shadow they.
probably not going to be backward compatible though.
I never know that. I mean, Sonic Unleashed was, and you didn't know that. You just gotta search to see if the games are backwards compatible, Raptor. That's all you gotta do. But no, like Shadow the Hedgehog was like probably my favorite game when I was younger, just because like I could run around with guns in a Sonic game. It's basically my way to play a shooter game without it being a real shooter game. Well, okay, my parents were kind of like that. I mean, they were just like, no, you can't have any M-rated games and things like that, and so on and so forth. Even though eventually, when Left 4 Dead did come out, my uncles gave me that game, and my mother just kind of gave up at that point. So, yeah. Which, I mean, probably wasn't the best idea for them to give me Left 4 Dead because that shit traumatized me when I was younger.
Oh, me and my brother played the hell out of Left 4 Dead when we were little.
I know, me and my friends did too. But moving back to Sonic. Try not to get too much on a tyrant here. This is for another day. We
See,
say
I've
now.
been good with the tangents.
Oh, don't worry. This is a. Yes, that's exactly what I. That's exactly it, Skull. You guys can enjoy that, but that's yeah, that's basically the Shadow the Hedgehog game. It's like him running around saying "damn" and you get to shoot stuff.
I have to see that
Watch it
later
later.
after the
Yeah.
podcast. Yeah.
But basically, the like story of Shadow the Hedgehog is that it's kind of like a soft reboot for him. So it's kind of like almost like ignoring what happens in the Sonic Adventure games, which I didn't play, mind you. I didn't come in on that. Again, I came in afterwards, so I never played Sonic Adventure games. Um, but essentially, it was basically how do I say this? Going back to like he doesn't remember who he is, kind of bringing in the whole like he might be an android plot from I think Sonic Heroes, and things like that. Basically, just basically rebooting his whole character and making him an edge lord. Essentially, this is where we get the edge lord Shadow. It doesn't come from any of the other games. It comes from Shadow the Hedgehog. This is the Shadow that we got, and this is where it started. This is the edge boy, which I'm not angry
Oh,
about. I know there's people who are. Those are the ones that played like Sonic Adventure, but I never played Sonic Adventure, and I like the Shadow personally. Most of the time, it's not including the comic one, but the comic one's special and unique. We'll get into that later. The comics were a wild ride, man. But
Oh, Sonic Frontiers is on the Xbox store already.
probably.
I'm looking at it right now.
I mean, I'm not surprised. You can probably pre-order it.
admittedly,
Um,
I've seen more of the Sonic um movies, like this not movie, but the shows more.
See, I also
Like,
watched the show. So I had watched the like Saturday morning cartoon where it had Sonic and the Nuthole Freedom Fighters, Sally, Bunny, Antoine, Rotor slash Boomer, and Tails and things like that. I watched that. I watched the Sonic Underground where it was him with Sonya and Manic, his like the little triplets there going on there like being in a band, which I'll be honest, that was a fucking ride. Well, just Sonic running around. It was a fucking musical too. Like they had like a song in every episode, basically. It was fucking great.
I vaguely remember that show.
I'm just upset it was canceled after one season. I would have loved to see more of that.
I've seen a couple of episodes of Sonic Underground along with another TV show, a Sonic TV show. I think it was the one where Sonic gives a lesson to the kids at the end of every episode.
And
Wow.
that's no good.
And that's no good.
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't seen that, but I've seen so many memes of that.
Oh,
It's
there's
definitely memeable.
I bet it is. But no, I've never seen that one. I think the first Sonic cartoon I actually watched was Sonic X when it was big. Um, and then that's when I went back and watched Sonic Underground and Sonic Saturday Morning. I actually bought the box set for the Saturday morning one with the Nuthole Freedom Fighters. Because that was also when the time I was getting into the comic books too, which also had the Nuthole Freedom Fighter. So I'm just like, oh, all right, let's go. Which I'm upset that I got canceled after 2 seasons. Which that was fun. They had more planned for that, but then it got canceled. I mean, kind of clearly as it left off on like kind of a cliffhanger a little bit. But yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, I wasn't too happy about that. It basically ended where like Sonic and Sally use a like supercharged ring to destroy Robotnik's whole like thing. It's also kind of implied that they destroyed Robotnik too. So at the end, like you have Sonic and Sally like sharing a kiss, and then it cuts to Snively, his I think Robotnik's nephew or something like that. I don't remember. No, yeah, it was his nephew because it was Uncle Robotnik to Snively. So yeah, that was his nephew. It cuts to Snively being like, "My turn now, bitches," and he walks out from like this like little. I guess safety pod, and behind him you just see like a pair of white eyes and like a cackle, and we never know who it was either. But it was supposed to be like some wizard, so we're just like, oh, okay,
Wow.
yeah. That's why the comics were great because I got more with the comics than I did with the actual cartoons. But no, yeah. So the comics were a wild ride, man.
Something I
Who's
just
curious about
realized.
these?
Yeah.
Yes?
Something I just realized.
What's that?
Isn't Dr. Robotnik is pretty much Eggman?
No, yeah, he is. It's just another name for him. He goes by both names in the comics. He's Robotnik and
Oh.
Eggman.
Oh. Okay, yeah. My memory is just like so. Because when I looked at those two, I was like, am I like high or something? Like,
No, like
they look
Robotnik was kind
exactly
of
the
like
same.
the older version, essentially, but then he like became Eggman, and in the comics he's referred to both Robotnik and Eggman. I think Eggman's more of like a nickname, kind of, whereas like Robotnik is his actual last name in the comics. But in the video games, obviously it's just Dr. Eggman. But no, yeah. So, any other video games you want to talk about before I get on to my tangent about the comics?
What's your opinion on Sonic Boom?
I never played it.
No. Yeah.
I mean, I watched a little bit of the cartoon, and to be honest, it kind of made me laugh.
The Sonic Boom cartoon is way funnier than it has the right to be.
That's true, but that's what makes it great.
Oh man, another speeding ticket. I think I'm gonna fight this in court, but I don't think they're going to accept gotta go fast as a medical condition.
Oh my god, I've actually seen that joke.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no,
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to watch the show.
You know, I will give you this, Raptor. It's really good. It's can be a little cringy at times, just because some of the humor can be a little weird, like cringy weird. But for the most part, it's actually really good. It's really funny in my opinion. Like just like Skull said, it is way funnier than it has any right to be.
I do remember a clip like there was like this boys versus girls thing and
Oh, then Knuckles is just like, you
yeah.
know, the more you call attention to these kind of things, the less value it has. And
Yes.
everyone just kind of looks at him and he's like, "What? I'm a
Look,
feminist."
just because I'm a meathead doesn't mean I'm not a feminist. I loved that.
That was great. Oh my gosh. But no, I've never actually played the game.
I did.
Oh, you did. What was it like?
Yeah. Honestly, kind of almost feels like a normal Sonic game, but has more quippy lines. That's all I
Some
remember.
more one-liners.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'll assume it was post update that fixed a lot of the breaking bugs.
Oh no, that's still game-breaking bugs in the game. I don't think they ever really truly fixed that game. It's like you take Fallout 76, but they never actually fixed it, kind of thing.
At least with 76, they fixed some of the shit, but it's not completely fixed.
That's
I
fair.
thought they at least. I thought with Sonic Boom they at least made an effort to make the game a little more stable and harder to break.
I think at that point it was too late.
Oh, okay, this is interesting. Sorry, I had to Google this real quick. Shadow the Hedgehog is not backward compatible on modern Xbox consoles, but it is backward compatible on Xbox 360.
Good luck finding a 360 then.
All the more reason to find one.
Such a shame, Raptor. This is why you never get rid of your old consoles.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess I'll just look at vintage stock.
There you go. That's how you do it.
I don't trust eBay for the life of me.
I wouldn't either. But anything
Yeah,
else about the games? No? Any other questions? Skull, did you have any questions?
If anything comes up, I'll ask.
Like you have no other questions about any of
I'll
the
ask.
other games or anything?
Um,
What do you think
not
about that?
that I-
Ruthless, go ahead.
I'll ask everyone, generally, what is their favorite Sonic game? Just overall.
Uh That's a
For
tough
me,
one.
For me, it's Sonic Generations, hands down.
I'm gonna be a little biased here just because of my own thing. But Sonic and the Black Knight. I mean, it wasn't a like particularly fabulous game, but like King Arthur. I mean, you can't not give me a game based on Arthurian legend and expect me not to just immediately fall in love with it. Like, I love Sonic 06 for the mess that it was and for giving me Silver and Blaze, but like, I can't pass that up. Sonic and the Black Knight for sure.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The only reason I say my answer as it is, I'm not familiar with a lot of Sonic games. So,
So you just picked the first one you ever played, huh?
yeah, it is the first one I ever played, and it's still one of my favorites.
That's fair.
Okay, my favorite. Hands down.
Ruthless, what about you?
I'll have to say, I
you
have
were
no-
giving, and Raptor was giving me grief about my first Sonic game.
I mean, I was
You've
too,
only
but
played one.
I also didn't choose my first Sonic game as my favorite, because it really wasn't. Anyway, Ruthless, what's your favorite?
none, because I don't have the. Admittedly, I am one of those people who's kind of was like, oh yeah, Sonic. Yeah, might as well play it. Like, I was more of like a casual. I would be considered as a casual that had like a bunch of people surrounded with me that was huge, that was more likely to buy Sonic shit.
Okay, that's fair. But,
Oh, and also, I didn't say the first Sonic game I've played was my favorite. The first Sonic game I played was the first one, remember? The first ever Sonic game.
fair enough. I'll give you that one. Don't expect it too often, though. Take your victories where you can. They don't happen very often for you.
They're
Yeah.
few and far between.
Do we want to bring up the fire deaths in Minecraft the other day?
Oh my god.
Oh boy. I wish I could have been there to see that.
Oh, you missed it. It was great. Anyway, um, what do we want to talk about next? We talked about the games. Do we want to talk more about the video game? Not the video game. Words. Do we want to talk about the shows, or did you want to hear a long tangent about the comics?
What about the movies?
Has everyone seen the movies though?
Yes.
What
I've
Just
seen them
has-
both.
Wait, you haven't seen?
You haven't
the
heard of the
movies?
movies?
What?
You haven't even heard of them?
What?
I'm kind of ashamed.
Shame on you,
Like they were
Skull.
like
Shame
theater
on you.
releases too.
Yeah, they
Shame.
were huge.
Follow. You guys keep forgetting I'm not like a movie person. I don't really follow that
but,
kind
like,
of stuff.
Memes.
They're huge.
Yeah, like
there's
the
even
memes,
everywhere.
come
It's all over
on.
the internet.
Bruh.
Oh,
The
those ones!
Yeah.
Yeah, the latest
Like
movies.
where
Come
do you
on,
think
keep
the ugly
up.
Sonic comes from?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
Thank God
sorry,
they
I'm...
redesigned that. Otherwise, I would have
Hey.
hated the movies.
Raptor, shut the hell up. I'm running on little to no sleep.
Oh my gosh. It felt great though.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll be honest. I was kind of mad towards the first Sonic movie that came out, like for like obviously the new ones. It was kind of like just like your basic road trip kind of thing, and I'm just like, it's okay.
Um,
Honestly, I like the first movie, but I like the second movie even better. Like just the
Knuckles
bond
made it so
between
much
Sonic
better.
and Tails, and
Knuckles made
yeah,
it better.
Knuckles' sense of humor and overall just the bond between Sonic and Tails.
I kind of like what Dandy pointed out regarding Knuckles, how he came off a lot like Starfire.
Yeah.
Oh God,
He really
Starfire!
Especially
Yeah,
towards
that-
the end where he's like, fun, okay. And then he just like punches the ball and he's like, haha, I'm the winner. And he just goes around the
I am
bases
the winner.
announcing like each one too. And then he's like, what is ice cream? What is the ice cream?
What is this ice cream? I love this sense of humor.
And he's like,
I
Sonic,
swear.
I have been told they have sprinkles. And he's like, yes, my victory chariot. Oh my gosh. Knuckles made that movie so much better. And I think the best thing about it is like it was very in character for Knuckles, especially if you look
Yeah.
back at the original Sonic 2 game when he was like initially was introduced. He was a rather naive and gullible person who did work along with Eggman until he realized that Eggman basically screwed him over. So like I do appreciate that cuz like that was
Yeah.
his arc in the second game.
Oh, and
And
please tell me you guys saw the after credits to the movie.
with Shadow, yes!
Oh yeah, I am super hyped for the third movie because of
Oh
that
my
shit.
gosh, I can't wait. We're going to get that whole like I found you faker.
Oh,
Oh
and
my gosh, it's going to be great.
you should probably make an edit in this now that I'm realizing this. Mark as spoilers for the Sonic movies.
Man, fuck that. I'll just mark it somewhere nearby.
To be fair, at this point, like, I believe that happened so long ago.
I mean, considering you can't really browse the internet without spoilers. I mean, what was it, like a couple days probably after it was released or something? I don't remember what exactly it was. I remember browsing Pinterest and coming across like basically the Shadow the Hedgehog scene on
Oh
there, and I'm
yeah.
like, oh, I wonder if this is real. And then I find out it is real. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, people on the internet, fucking assholes.
I mean, I don't care because it's not really the end destination; it's the journey. So long as the journey's good to me, I don't give a fuck if you spoil it. If
Yeah.
anything, you just take away the shock value. Which, I mean, if that's all you have going for you is a shock value, then you're doing your movie wrong.
I mean, I was super hyped when I saw that scene when I was watching the movie in theaters. So
I didn't see it in theaters. Me and Dandy watched it. We rented it on YouTube and watched it.
fair enough.
Because man, fuck theaters. But yeah, no, I'm excited for Sonic the Hedgehog 3. We're gonna get Shadow. Oh, I can't wait. It's gonna be the
I
whole
mean-
plot line where it's like, we saw you doing this. It's like, but I wasn't doing it. And it's Shadow, and he's like, I found you, Faker. And he's like, Faker, you're the Faker.
To be fair, one of the only real reasons I saw it at theaters is like there's this actually really good movie theater not far from my house. Like
Oh my god, we don't need your life story!
I mean, I just really like the movie theater. It's got like a restaurant
gosh.
concept as well.
I can't get over that skull. Get some sleep.
I have been sleeping. It's a side effect of the antibiotics I'm taking though.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
Bro, I feel you on that part. Like, bro, I've been taking some medicine also, for my skin infection.
Yeah, it's not understandable. It's still funny though.
It is.
God.
It's still quite funny. But anyone else have any opinions on the movies? Ruthless, you haven't said what you thought.
Honestly, I think the first one was okay. Second one was a lot better. Like, I was like, holy shit, it got insane, like a lot better.
It definitely did.
Yeah, the second one was definitely much better than the first, but I still like the first one.
I don't care for the
Meow?
first. Meow. Pretty much.
I'll admit, when I came into the movie, I was like, oh, the first movie happened? Oh yeah, that happened. He forgot about it.
I don't know. It was a little boring. The only things that were actually kind of cool was the whole thing with like Sonic and Eggman, but like outside of him, just like eh.
Also, I loved Jim Carrey as like
Jim
Eggman.
Carrey was
Like, he is the-
amazing.
Yeah, I actually
was-
liked Eggman in the movies. That's why.
I mean, he's just perfect, and I loved what was it, Agent Stone.
Oh yeah.
Like that is the very definition of a man completely in love with a mad scientist, and I appreciate that.
Oh yeah.
I especially loved at the end when like Robotnik had the Master Emerald, and he's going away, and Agent Stone's like, "No, wait, take me with you." Though I will say it was really weird when Agent Stone was like going through the outfit options for Robotnik, and for some reason there's like a maid outfit. I'm like, what is that? Why
I
do I
think
need
they
to
were.
see that?
I think they were doing like a minor. Like I think they were trying to do like a bit of a like lowbrow humor.
No, it
For
definitely was that kind of thing. It was definitely like the kind of guy who was obsessed with this man. He's just like so very meticulous and organized about these things, and like, ooh, let's do this and this, and let's just sneak that in there. He won't notice. That's fine. It's something to look at. Just not maybe like stare at obsessively, but like it's something to look at. Oh my gosh, I do appreciate that Agent Stone was basically in love with Robotnik. It was a fucking great. It was a toxic ass relationship, but holy fuck, like he's like, take me with you. I will be yours. I especially love at the end where he's actually like there in disguise trying to look for Robotnik, and I'm like, man, that is dedication. That man was awful to you, but holy fuck, you loved him. It I don't know. I'd say the second one was a lot better. Definitely a
yeah,
lot better.
for sure.
Like, everything just made it great. Jim Carrey was, I felt like, a lot like crazier, which fit Eggman a lot better to me. Like, the few people that actually remember him as like a stone cold bastard is probably like the original Robotnik. But no, I'd see Eggman now as like this silly nonsense kind of villain, and Jim Carrey captures that pretty well.
Yeah, I mean when I first thought of Eggman, even in the cartoons, I always thought of him as like, yeah, he's kind of goofy to a point.
Especially in the Sonic X. Like, Sonic X really made him very goofy. And then Sonic Boom afterwards, but, like, Sonic Boom's kind of supposed to be a comedy anyway, so yeah. But no, yeah, in Sonic X, he definitely was very goofy. I can agree there.
Now, yeah, I'll admit when he was Dr. Robotnik in the previous, I do like the goofier villain of Eggman. Like I think it's a lot better in my opinion.
It's a lot better for the tone of what Sonic actually is
Yeah,
versus, like, what was created otherwise.
yeah,
Because Robotnik fits the universe of the Sonic the Hedgehog comics a lot better than like the goofy Dr. Eggman would. Because they kind of had Dr. Eggman in the Sonic X spin-off comics, which was also distributed by Archie Publications. Um, but you didn't see that in the original Sonic the Hedgehog run of those comics. You saw this very cold and heartless bastard who did eventually kind of go a little mad, but for the most part, he was very cold and just very bent on world domination. Like, it wasn't about, like, oh, I want to build this Eggman land thing and do something with it. No, like, in the comics, Dr. Robotnik went out of his way to capture the king of the kingdom of Acorn, which, yes, I know, that's weird. But regardless, he captured the king, captured the people then, and then all across the world, he started enslaving everyone and turning them into robots so they would never disobey him. They were basically his roboticized slaves.
Damn.
Honestly, that reminds me of a joke in Sonic Generations. It's like Eggman and Robotnik team up with each other, and Eggman says something like, "Once I kill both Sonics, I can finally take over the world." And he does like an evil laugh, and Robotnik is like, "Oh man, do I really get that crazy?"
Yes. Yes, he does. He definitely gets that crazy. I mean, that's what makes it fun, and this is what Eggman's become. But I mean, it makes for a good, goofy kind of villain that, like, it's supposed to be a threat, but he's not really, like, something to be taken that
Yeah.
seriously. But no, like, in the run of the comics, he was definitely a force to be reckoned with, and quite dangerous, actually. It was pretty bad. I mean, there was literally, like, one like it didn't last very long, mind you, but it was kind of like a build up to it, where he did discover the location of the Nuthole Village, and this is like issues like 175, 176, something like that. So a little bit more towards like the end of its run, kind of. But he discovers where they are, goes souped up in this like battle suit, and he's just kind of like capturing all of them. It seems like they're being destroyed. Sonic's like the last one alive, it's in quotes alive. And then we find out that he actually teleported them to these things called egg grapes, and his idea was to harness their life energy and kill them so he could steal their basically lives. They basically like use them for fuel, kind of.
Damn.
Yeah. Which then, of course, like Sonic does come in and rescue everyone and things like that. But no, guys, the comics do get rather dark, and I'm just like, oh boy. And
Um,
it handles its characters well. One moment, Ruthless. But that's until you get to some of the other cool stuff. But go ahead, Ruthless.
I was about to say, I was just like, okay, yeah, I'm fine with dark. I can't say nothing about dark shit when I read like the boys' comics.
Exactly. I mean, it's still fun, and I wouldn't say goofy, but like definitely more mature than like the child-friendly games. Cuz you get a lot of those more heavier themes cuz like again, you have Sonic who got like lost in space for a year and he comes back and everyone thought he was dead. To find out he's back from the grave essentially, and you got your teen drama because like in this comic they're like what 15, 16, something like that, so drama. And like
Oh boy.
oh yeah, so he's dating Princess Sally, which again I remember going in on the shipping video about how Sally was created for Sonic, but then the comics were created for her, so she became so much more than his love interest. um there's actually a scene where like she does get upset that he's going off and getting in danger again, and she's like, I know I can't lose him again. I can't go through this again. And when she gives him the ultimatum of stay with me and give up your hero work or lose me but still be a hero, he's like, Sally, I can't choose you in this scenario. And she calls him selfish and slaps him across the face in front of everyone. And basically just like runs off crying. So it's like, yeah, no, you get that kind of stuff, which I'm like, damn, that's kind of heavy. Or like they did the whole like how they'll do like the whole future, like look what these characters look like in the future kind of thing.
Oh boy.
Well, they did that with Sonic, and Sonic eventually would have married Sally and became king. So he became
Oh
King
boy.
Sonic.
I
well,
can see the future.
well, they find out that something is happening where like the zones have grown unstable or something and they're starting to like collapse, so basically it was like the end of the world, and the only thing they could have done was like go back in time and fix everything essentially, which okay, fair. I still don't really care for those plot threads, but then like you see everything unfold, and when we come back to the future, Sonic's life's basically been destroyed.
Boy.
So he went from being king to being a hobo.
Oh damn.
Like literally whenever like Tails goes to find Sonic to try and like fix the world that they're in, because some of them do remember the previous timeline because of these like armbands and things like that keep them anchored to their proper timelines.
Oh boy.
So you had Tails who got married to someone called Mina the Mongoose, who was this pop star and had kids with her, which was a little weird because like she was like 5 years older than her, but who cares? Uh, it's I think the best thing was what happened with Shadow. So instead of Sonic becoming king, Shadow became king. He's the one who married Sally in that timeline.
Oh god.
So what happened was that Shadow, being the ultimate life form, conquered all of Mobius. And to retain peace and whatnot, Sally married Shadow.
Oh my god.
It
Damn.
was great. And then like you have this whole like showdown between Sonic and Shadow is just like you're fucking pathetic, man. Like you've aged, you're slow, you're weak. I don't age. I'm the ultimate life form, motherfucker. And then comes like the daughter of Knuckles, which he gets married to a comic character, which I like Julie Sue. Julie Sue was awesome. But Laura Sue is the daughter, and she comes in, and she's like, "All right, bitch, let's throw down," because she has the same chaos powers as Shadow because of obviously Knuckles. Knuckles had those powers because he was guardian and whatnot, and she uses chaos control to free Shadow. So basically, yeah, that's how they beat Shadow, and then Sonic's made king again.
Wow.
It's a wild ride, man.
Sounds like it.
Or like oh, what else do we have? We have this woman who's able to control technology, and she comes in and takes control of the AI that's basically made the city out of like nanobots, basically. And they enslave everyone, or at least capture everyone. And Sally has this fling with a monkey.
Uh, uh,
His name was Monkey Khan and whatnot. So yeah. And then we find out that SPO is like the son of a ninja bride who is a leader of these ninja clans who aren't supposed to have like kids or relationships or anything like that, but fun stuff. It's
We.
it's a wild ride. Or like how they introduce Silver, how he's trying to find the traitor to the freedom fighters, and he's constantly going back and forth between the future and the past, trying to find it. And then he's like stuck in the past because his master's like, no, 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 you've done this too many times. You're gonna stay there till you figure it out this time. It's it's alright. The only thing that makes me upset is that because of the legal issue, we never got some of the plot threads kind of like ironed out or like finished. I bet is a better way to say it. Because like one of them was Bunny Rabbit, who was caught in a roboticizer halfway through, so her legs and her left arm, I believe, were turned like robotic, so she became like a cyborg. She was caught in like this magic blast that crystallized her robotic limbs. So she's like basically could not move at all. And thanks to the same wizard that caused the problem, her limbs were restored back to flesh and blood, so she didn't have those robotic limbs. But she's had them for a long time, so when she goes back into combat, she's like, get a load of my cannon arm, and she's like, oh, I don't have that anymore. And
Aw.
in that same
Mm.
fight, one of the Metal Sonics goes off towards the city to basically blow up and detonate like bomb. Well, Antoine catches him and tries to keep him from the city, but because of that, the Metal Sonic blows up right next to Antoine, and Antoine is her husband. So she basically watched her husband more or less die right in front of her. Like he's put into a coma, but we all know he was basically kind of dead. Especially when you have like the scene where Sonic's running him back to the city to get medical help, and you just see his arm fall, and it's like, oh damn. It's like we didn't get the ending to Antoine. We never got to see if he was okay. Like he was left in a coma when the reset happened. Then you
Ooh.
had Bunny, who basically vanished because she blamed herself for her husband's condition because she couldn't save him because she didn't have her robotic limbs. So she blames herself for not being able to, save him. And she just vanishes. Sally, they do kind of like a reset thing, and in the reset, all the people who were safe from being roboticized could be roboticized again, and that's what Robotnik was trying to do. He's trying to turn the world into robots. But to ensure that didn't happen, Sally reversed it and focused it all on her. So the world was saved, but she was turned into a robot and basically turned into a weapon against her friends. So we didn't get to see the end of that. And it's just, oh my gosh. Yeah, you got a lot of things up in there. So, I mean, the comics were a wild ride, but they were fun. they tackled some like serious issues. Well, not really serious issues, but like darker themes. I would say is probably the better thing: death, love, loss, maniacal people trying to take over the world by turning everyone into like mindless robots.
Yeah.
It's definitely right. I haven't read the new Sonic the Hedgehog comics. They're kind of just like sitting in the plastic, waiting to be read, but I refuse to read them because I'm just like, no, I'm salty, man. I've been told they're good though, and I'm like, that's fine and all, but like, I
It's not
miss.
the
It's
same.
not the same. There's no
Yeah.
Bunny, there's no Sally, and there's no Nicole. Oh my gosh. Because the comic I came in on was 151, and I so vividly remember this because I remember reading to the back of the comic, and Ruthless, you kind of know this, how they'll have the main story, and then they'll have like a one-off, like one-shot story at the end. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's done in a different style. Um,
Yeah. For sure.
well, in this comic, because I remember the comic was something about like evil Sonic coming back and just like hitting on all the girls. Yeah, I know.
Interesting.
It's very
Damn.
interesting. And then like that whole evil Sonic thing is a whole nother plot thread in itself. Like he gets infused with like chaos energy, he turns green, and he calls himself Scourge. So yeah,
Sounds like comics.
it definitely does. Yes, you're not gonna lie there. Um, but you have that happen, and at the end of it, you just have this little one shot story. Not really one shot, but like kind of somewhere to fit it in. Like it's like a mini story essentially, where you have Sally sleeping and it's like dead at night, and she wakes up and she sees something forming in her room, almost like an apparition. But when she blinks, it's gone. But she also notices her door's open, so she's like, okay, no, something was here. And she gets dressed. I say dressed, but she just puts on boots and a vest. That's dressed. I mean, she's covered in fur. What else do you expect?
uh,
But
but still, the way you worded it.
it's true though. But
I mean, I'd say that's a step up from like, just shoes and gloves.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it
fair
kind of
enough.
is. But no, yeah, so she goes out and she sees this other girl who's dressed in like this really really pretty purple dress and long black hair, and she's like a lynx and everything, and she's kind of surprised, and when she confronts the girl is just like, oh my gosh, Princess Sally, what are you doing here? And she's like, wait a minute, why do you have Nicole's voice? And that's when you learn like Nicole was working on creating a like body for herself, like a fake body essentially, because in one of her previous stories she had experienced the world through Sally's body because their bodies were like switched temporarily, and Nicole is an AI, so she was like completely computer, never experienced the world and everything. But when she actually was in Sally's body, she could experience everything, and she wanted to experience that again. So she created her own body, and that little story is basically like, yeah, I've been doing this for a while, but I can't maintain it forever because it's fading already because it takes a lot of power. And I'm like, oh, like I definitely love Nicole for that, because like her whole thing is just wanting to be like everyone else and experience life like they do, but she can't because she's an AI. So it's like, oh, I don't know. I really like it. Nicole was always one of my favorites. She was like Sally's right hand gal, even though it was a computer, but you know. And then I already voiced how much I love Sally. Like Sally is just, I love Sally. Her
Hey,
and Bunny. Like Bunny is just I love her. The Southern Belle essentially, but part robot.
robots can be people too.
It's why I say part robot. She was a cyborg.
Whatever. It's all the same shit at the end of the day.
My gosh. Take that what you will. Take that what you will. But do you guys have any questions about the comics?
No.
Oh, that's sad rapper. What about you two, Skull and Ruthless?
Would you
Uh,
recommend someone to read it?
I personally would. There might be a little nostalgia behind that, just because I loved the Sonic the Hedgehog comics, just because you got a lot more characters, you got a lot more development for a lot of the characters. Obviously, it does have Sonic's name on it, but it is kind of more Sally's story too. They do kind of share the spotlight, which I do appreciate, because Sonic, again, he's still that reckless kind of person. He's the hero and whatnot, but it feels different than the video games. Like, he's not as arrogant and things like that. Like, you can tell he's been through some shit in the comics, and I do appreciate that they do add that into his character, because it makes him feel more grounded, even though he's still like a reckless teenager. Sally is a very wise and competent leader for her age, because she, again, like the others, had been through hell. And you have Bunny, who's this very positive and I'm ready to rough some bitch up kind of person. Antoine went from this very scared person. He's still a little got that cowardice to him, but it doesn't define him like it did so much before. And like, you see him develop into a more confident person, especially getting to the point where he does propose and marry Bunny, which I thought was the cutest little thing. Like, they actually did a whole wedding comic and everything for them, and it was so cute. And then you have Knuckles with Julie Sue, and like their whole thing with the Master Emerald, Doctor like Finitivus. I don't know how to say it, but basically, then you get this whole plot line with Knuckles being turned into a Chaos God and Sonic having to stop him. But it ends up being Knuckles' father that pays the price for freeing his son. And I'm just like, there's some heavy themes in here. And
Mhm.
I know one that's probably a little icky that people may not like for this character, which is Amy. So I know Amy gets a lot of
Icky.
it's Amy. It's Amy. She's a
Yeah.
stalker. What do you expect? But
Yeah.
she does retain a little bit of that in the comics, where she is obsessed with Sonic. It never really felt like she like stalked him obsessively like she does in other material, but you still get that obsession that she has with Sonic, especially when you take into consideration that I believe she was the same age as Tails in the beginning, which is like 8 or 9 or something along those lines.
Oh.
But
Ugh.
she wasn't so infatuated with Sonic, an older person, that when she got a hold of a power ring, she wished herself older. So she was, I think, a year or two younger than Sonic in the comics. And she was hoping that now that she was older, Sonic would notice her. But Sonic never really did. Sonic's eyes were for
Ooh.
Sally. So like, you still have that where she wants so much for Sonic to notice her, that a lot of what she does stem from that obsession. But there is one scene that was definitely towards the end of the run of the comics that I do appreciate, and that was when Sonic and Sally were giving their relationship another attempt, because drama. Uh,
Yeah.
there was as people were trying to get their opinions on something, like the press was trying to get their opinions on a matter that was happening, and even though like Sonic and Sally were just trying to like get out of there, they were kind of being swarmed by the press, and that's when Amy came in and she's like, "Man, fuck y'all, leave them alone," and basically gave Sonic a chance to run off with Sally. And one thing I do appreciate is that one like random person was just like, "But I thought you were in love with Sonic. Why are you letting him go off with another girl?" And then he kind of like, "I probably shouldn't have said that." And you see her just like, "I am in love with Sonic. But right now, Sally is what makes him happy. And that's all that matters to me." And I'm like, I like that. That's an obsession that has genuinely turned into love, where she was willing to let him go with the person he absolutely loved.
I will admit I do have respect for that universe's Amy for that.
Yes. That's
Mad
especially what
respect.
I do too, because I'm just like, I like that. It's something that she desperately needs, and it does bother me in a lot of the media how they do try to push them together. Like in the Sonic X series, that was whoop. I remember one episode where they're doing the whole beach thing, and she's just trying to like find ways to like make something like do something for Sonic. I don't fucking remember what it was, but she almost ends up drowning, and Sonic jumps in after her, even though like he can't swim. And the last shot we get is him with the little shell bracelet she made, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? That made me so mad. I'm like, no, don't put these two together. And it makes it even madder because what Sally and so many others were, they're making Amy into that. Or at least they're trying to. They're trying to be like that love interest, but also trying to be a little more of what these other characters were. And I'm like, I don't know. I just, I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with Amy. Like, I love what she is to a point, but I don't like the whole stalker aspect to her. I don't like the obsessive part of her. Like, she's a cool enough concept and design and whatnot. Minus the short-ass pink dress. That, not pink, the red dress. That's really weird. Especially the way, like, it has a weird shape to it, especially in like the Sonic X series, where it's literally like at a 90-degree angle and then just like curves. I'm like, what the fuck am I looking at?
I think that's kind of like Amy's design in general, isn't it?
But like you see in a little more later games where like the skirt isn't as weird as it was in Sonic X, because like literally you could like look up the skirt and see the undies, and I'm like, I don't want to see that.
Really? Was it
Yeah.
really that bad?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. There was one episode where she was literally like jumping up and using her Pico hammer to smash something, and you just
Yeah, I
see
remember.
her undies, and I'm like, why? Why'd you draw this?
What the fuck?
Yeah, so
To be fair, I kind of think they were doing it for
Yeah, I
the
think they were
kids
doing it
and
for the
service.
furry fan service, yeah.
it's hard to
Like,
say. I don't know. Like, actually, while we're on the topic talking about characters, do we want to do
If,
this?
if you guys were talking Sonic X, then it makes sense. It was Japanese animated before anything else, and you guys know how Japan can be.
That is
Yep,
true.
furry fan service.
That's very true.
It's not even just fan service, it's like,
It's Japan.
yeah,
It's Japan. It's different over there.
you know, Japan, the only place where you can go to vending machines and get used women's underwear.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Or where a human man can have sex with an octopus.
moving
Why
on.
is that
Nope,
what
nope,
you...
nope. We're letting
That's
that
a Family
rest.
Guy joke.
We're letting that rest. We're ignoring that, and we're moving back on to what we were talking about. Raptor, you'll be sent to the corner later. Anyway, so what we're going to like tyrants about the characters. Let's kind of do this a little bit in order. Let's start with the main man himself, Sonic. So like obviously he's been in a lot of different things, a lot of different like movies, like video games, comics apparently, and you know, things like that. But like, what do you guys think? Like, which one's been your favorite Sonic? Well,
I was being yelled at again.
you're good.
I would say the TV show makes him a little bit more interesting.
The TV show for you. Which TV show though? That's the question.
It was I think it was the Rebel one, right? That
Was
had
it the one with the nut hole freedom fighters,
yeah,
or was it the Sonic
yeah,
Underground?
no,
The nut hole.
not the
Okay.
Underground. Underground was like an interesting concept, but it is if you look at it like from a distance, it is a weird concept, but it works.
It does work. I mean, I kind of liked the idea of them giving Sonic some siblings. I mean, hell, even in the comics, they give him like parents and an uncle. So I mean, you know, well, they gave him an uncle in the Saturday morning cartoon with the Freedom Fighters too. So Uncle Chuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can understand that. You guys know mine. It's the comics. But Raptor, what about you?
For me, I'm only really familiar with the games more than anything, so the game.
Well, which game
Hmm.
of the games you've played? Like, which Sonic would you say has been your favorite?
Uh, Sonic Generation.
All right, fair enough. What about you, Skull? I know you're not as familiar with the franchise, but like, has there been any version of Sonic that you have liked from what you've seen?
Uh, uh,
All right, we'll take that answer too. I thought I'd give it a try there, buddy. All right.
the one from Unleashed.
Really? All right.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can respect that.
Interesting.
That's like the very general Sonic, so yeah, I agree with that. All right. Now, what about Shadow? Shadow's a pretty like straight cut kind of character at this point. He's the edge lord of the series. I mean,
Honestly, I kind of viewed Shadow and Sonic to have almost like a Goku and Vegeta relationship.
so I'm not familiar with Dragon Ball. Can you explain that for me?
Um, Basically, how do I explain it? Goku and Vegeta are sort of rivals, but they're like friends. It's like a
So like a friendly
friendly rivalry.
rivalry, pretty much.
Yeah,
And it's pretty much actually exactly what it is for them too. I'll
yeah,
admit, like in the comics, it is a little more friendly. Like you still see something of a rivalry in the comics, but you see in the comics they do get past that. But definitely for the video games, you definitely see a lot of that rivalry still. Like the whole "I found you, faker." I will never forget that. That shit's great. But I mean, what about like Shadow on his own though, without Sonic? Like, what are your thoughts on him then, Raptor?
Shadow without Sonic, you said?
Yeah, like just Shadow on his own.
I mean, he does have a bit of a Vegeta personality as well. I think.
You think? Okay. Uh, it is Skull Ruthless. Either of you got any thoughts on the Dark Hedgehog itself?
He's cool.
Is that all you're gonna say?
Yeah,
I mean, he is.
it's not like the no comment flustered type of cool. It's just like he's cool.
It's cool. Okay. Okay. I
I
mean,
mean,
like,
he is cool. I'll give you that.
yeah. I definitely liked Shadow over Sonic more, especially when he got more into that whole edgelord kind of phase.
And also, unlike the other Sonic characters, he actually has a game where you actually get to put some cap in ass.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to ignore that. Um, but you have to admit he's also like kind of a main character in the games too, up to a certain point. Like he's the big three amongst the hedgehogs. It's Sonic, Shadow, Silver, especially when Silver was
Yeah.
introduced. Because like when you think hedgehogs, you think those three almost immediately, especially in the fandom. It's like, okay, here we go. Well,
Yeah, he is an OG.
yeah.
It's very much so.
What do you
I mean,
think, Ruthless?
isn't that point like further shown with the Sonic Adventure games as well?
Sonic Adventure was before Sonic 06. It was like because Sonic 06 was supposed to be something of like Sonic Adventure 3 or whatever it was supposed to be. I don't remember which number it was
Huh.
supposed to be, but Sonic
Really?
Adventure was what introduced Shadow. Uh about how again like he was a science, not really science, but like what was it? He was supposed to be like something to do with like medical because Maria was dying of a disease that like had no cure, but Shadow was supposed to help like keep it in check essentially. Like he was supposed to be like there's a term for it,
Donor.
but yeah, it's something like that. But, like there's a term for
Organ
it.
donor.
Not really organer, but like oh what is it? Oh, best way I can describe it. Tracer. So Tracer from Overwatch is dealing with like a time illness essentially where she'll keep skipping through time and fading in and out of time essentially. But her chrono accelerator keeps her grounded to the present. So Shadow was supposed to be something that like kind of like the chrono accelerator where he was supposed to keep Maria well enough, like keep the disease at bay kind of thing. I know it doesn't make sense, but like it's kind of what Shadow was kind of supposed to be. Like he was made for Maria, and like he was supposed to be for good essentially, but then like Gel Robotics just like y'all killed my granddaughter, y'all gonna die now, and basically turned him into like a weapon and tried to weaponize like Maria's death to why he should hate humanity. But Maria's like, no, 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 we don't do that here. I want you to save humanity. And that's basically Shadow's whole thing in Sonic Adventure is just where like he learns who he actually is and remembering his like real past and remembering Maria and all that fun stuff and like getting over like the pure rivalry with Sonic and it being more like a friendly rivalry towards the end. But then you have some games that kind of retcon that a little bit. Obviously, like Shadow the Hedgehog, the video game, did retcon that a little bit where he didn't remember where he was or who he was and things like that, or where Maria was for that matter. And just the Edge Lord is what he became. But I think someone described it pretty well for what Shadow is. That he's just not this edgy fuck humanity kind of person. He's just a very introverted. I wouldn't really say quiet, but like he cares most for the people closest to him, and he will die for them. Which I do agree with that, and I like that Shadow, and you see him in the comics a lot, especially with the Team Dark kind of dynamic they have going on, because they have Omega, obviously, from like... It's basically Team Dark from the Sonic Heroes game, where you have Rouge and Omega with them. But, like, you see them kind of crack under his surface, and it's really cute. Plus, they have the motorcycle, and I'm like, okay, let's go.
Motorcycle, you say?
Yeah, so Sonic the Hedge that's Shadow the Hedgehog video game introduced this like really badass motorcycle that Shadow rides around on. Obviously, like he doesn't need to, and Sonic 06 brought it back as well. And I'm just like, this man
Oh,
can run it at the speed of sound. Why does he need a motorcycle? But it's cool.
yeah, it's
Like,
cool.
it's,
That's why he needs it.
exactly. I mean, literally in the comics, Rouge is quick to point out where she's like, "Yo, you know you don't need this motorcycle, right?" And he's like, "But I like it."
Yeah, it's cool, bitch. Let me do me.
Yeah, because she's just like, because you maintain it and paint it all on your own. He's just like, I like it. So I appreciate that. Like, I understand, like, he can, like, basically run at the speed of sound just like Sonic can, but, like, motorcycles are badass, and it makes sense to give the Edgelord a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Very.
And I'm going to keep addressing him as that, because that's what he is now. He's an Edgelord.
And also, like, yeah, that does fit well together to me for whatever, for some reason. The edgelord and his motorcycle. I don't know why. That
And
might
the
just
whole,
be.
damn, damn.
Damn, damn.
And then the guns. Don't forget the guns.
And guns, like what I
And
brought up
guns! Don't
earlier.
forget the guns!
The streets
Can
are
never
tough.
forget
He's
that.
got to be strapped.
Oh my gosh, and Shadow is
What,
definitely that
when, it,
one.
when it comes to edgy characters, if it's not guns, it's knives.
That's true. That is very true.
Yeah,
They're also dark and mysterious. It's basically the rogue of D&D.
Yes.
So dark and edgy and brooding.
yup.
Gosh. But I think we can all agree Shadow's cool though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I would say, yeah, he can be interesting. With all fairness, my cool label is very, like, the label for me is cool, is kind of high.
That is fair. That is definitely fair knowing you. Now, to kind of round out that trio, I don't know how many of you have experience with this hedgehog, but what about Silver?
He kind of comes off like a. He kind of gives me Trunks vibes. Because,
Again, you're gonna have to
future.
explain these because I don't watch Dragon Ball.
Trunks travels from the future, and that's the main reason. Okay, that's pretty much it. But well, they're both trying to save the world, though. They're both trying to save their futures.
He interesting, mysterious time traveler.
Pretty much. I mean,
Yeah.
as someone who's played Sonic 06 and read the comics and seen what Silver is to what they were trying to portray, I can fully say Silver is this very naive young hedgehog. I believe he's around the same age as Sonic, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But whereas Sonic, and I'm going to say this from the comic point of view because I'm obviously more familiar with the comics, where Sonic has seen some shit and quite honestly also isn't going to put up with shit either. um,
Mhm.
Silver is very naive and very headstrong, but also very impulsive on top of that. Like the moment he gets any lead in the comics on who the traitor might be for the freedom fighters, he's very quick to act on it and go back in time to try and stop them, only then to learn that like he was wrong and he's like, oops, pretty much. And you see he's kind of like got that heart of gold. He's got that good intentions kind of thing, which is kind of why in like Sonic and the Black Knight, I kind of appreciate why they made him Sir Galahad. And I'm going to say this again for those who aren't familiar or haven't seen previous episodes, but Sir Galahad in the Arthurian legends came in when the Holy Grail was put into the legend as well. And Sir Galahad was meant to be the purest of all knights, the one that would actually obtain the Holy Grail. So he was like the Knights of Knights, essentially. He was the son of Lancelot, the greatest of all the knights, but then his Galahad was a purist. So I really appreciate that they made this basically cinnamon roll of a character, Galahad, who is supposed to be the purest of all. And then of course they made Shadow Lancelot, so I'm just like, okay, let's go. I mean, Shadow Wiz Lancelot just works. I'm sorry, I'm just saying it. It really does. Just like Knuckles as Gwaine works. I still don't really see Percival though. Like, I don't get too much interaction with Percival, but Blaze was Percival. But anyway, no, like Silver is definitely like a cinnamon roll kind of character. It's definitely gives off the must protect kind of vibes.
Cinnamon roll.
Yeah, the cinnamon roll. He fucking looks like a cinnamon roll too. You get the little fluff, the fluff like
Mhm.
Shadow does, and like the big fluff ear eyeballs things, eyebrows, like just a little fan on his head. I'm like, how could you not love this? And he's got psychic powers on top of that. Like, come on, like.
Damn, I kind of want a cinnamon roll now.
Okay, fair enough. No, I love Silver. Silver is a sweetheart. He's a cutie. He's definitely that cinema roll that you must protect. He's naive, but he's very like you can tell he has a good heart. And I'm just like, he's such a little child and it's so cute.
Yeah, that's kind of the same with Trunks as well.
Oh my gosh. And it just and I'm also a little more like biased towards like Silver because like Silver and Sylvaise was like my first big shipping because like I fell in love with Silver, especially towards the end. And I know we already discussed Sonic 06, but I'm gonna go back to this because this moment fucking ripped my heart out, and it still continues to rip my heart out too to this day because again I love Silver. That's also what it is. Like I'm not very nostalgic to the game itself. I'm very attached to Silver. Silver is just he's everything. Um, but towards the end, whenever he is trying to accept and listen to him, but he can't, and it's Blaze that's doing it. Like he tries. When she tells him, "We agree to save the world at any price." Like Blaze knew what she was doing. She knew what the sacrifice she was going to make, but Silver was not willing to accept it. Even as he tried to do as she told him, he couldn't. And tells her, "I can't. I wouldn't know what to do without you. You're my friend, right?" And the only thing we get from Blaze, which still rips my heart out, is her turning towards him and saying, "You're still so naive, but I've always liked that about you." And then she sends herself away. And the last thing
Mm.
she says to him is, "Good luck, Silver." And I'm just sitting here like, why? Why do you gotta do this? Like, they had a really good chemistry as friends. You can see a potential romantic relationship between them. And they got rid of Blaze. I'm just like, why? sent her away, and I'm just like, no, why? It's actually kind of funny because Ruthless, you might know this too because you're a comic man. You know how sometimes at the very end where they'll have like fan letters and fan art sent in to them and kind of things in comics, and how sometimes they'll have like a little like mini comic strip that's like 3 or 4 panels sometimes. Well, the Sonic the Hedgehog comics did that too, and there was one where they were kind of like not really calling out the Sylvaise fans, but acknowledging them is the best way to put it. Because you see Marine, who's this like raccoon, which I believe appears in the Sonic Rush games, which was a Sonic and Blaze adventure kind of thing. But Marine the raccoon was drawing this like little fan comic, I guess you could say, and you see Blaze in this like pirate-esque kind of dress, and behind her you see Silver holding her up, and he's dressed as like one of those like stereotypical musketeer pirate kind of things with a rose between his mouth. Between his teeth. And like Blaze just gets so angry that she burns it, and then Amy's just like, Blaze, who was that? I need to find the comic with it and I can show you guys, but like, oh my gosh, it was great. I felt so acknowledged at that point.
Alternate episode title: Shipping to Electric Boogaloo.
We'll get to that one.
Where does the term electric boogaloo even come from? Shit.
It's from like from what I know, it's like a stupid movie title from a series or something, but that's not what we're talking about here.
No, it's not. But no, I'm very attached to Silver. Silver was like my favorite part of '06, and it's the only reason why I like '06. I like the theme song they gave him in Sonic '06, which was "Dreams of an Absolution," which I love that song still. And just I love Silver. Like his whole story, his character, it's amazing. Every time he was in like any Sonic games or like if any of you played like the Sonic and Mario at Olympic Games kind of stuff, I always played as like Silver and Blaze and that kind of stuff. Like I was obsessed. That was the first character I was obsessed with. And then Lightning came into my life and then everything changed. But we don't talk about that.
So good, right?
Anyway, but what about Scholar Ruthless? Like, Raptor shared how what he kind of thinks of Silver, but like, what do you two think?
I don't know much about it, but it seems interesting.
Seems
I like
interesting.
his character design.
Yes, that's probably one of the biggest reasons why I loved him too. I'm just like, he's got a nice design. Like, that's also why I like Shadow too. Like the black and with the red stripes, and then you have the white and the gold accents on his design. Like, oh, it's beautiful. It's fucking beautiful. And like, I'm gonna admit this right now. One of the biggest things I love about Silver's design is his fucking boots. Those things are beautiful. I have a thing with boots. Like, I've always loved boots. I know it's really weird, but it's like the one kind of footwear I absolutely love. And when I saw Silver's boots, I'm like, those are fucking awesome. I fucking love those.
Yeah, to be honest, I can't really say anything because I think my brother loves Shadow's boots as well.
I'm gonna be real right here. I always hated drawing Shadow shoes when I was younger. It was like the one thing I had issue with. But that's not here. That's neither here nor there. But I can relate to that though on a certain level. um, but we already talked about Amy. So what about Tails, the one who went from sidekick to whiny genius in the later games?
He's kind of boring to me, but just the like those video games. Now the movies isn't bad with them. The original, like how he was originally is, and then he progression.
Alright, I'm gonna kind of cut you off right there, Ruthless, because you're cutting in and out real bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Tails, for me, when I was younger at least, I was really obsessed with him. But I've always really liked as like character type designs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I can say like I liked more the original Tales. Probably one you saw a little more in the cartoons, the early cartoons with like Sonic Saturday Morning kind of thing, where he definitely was a kid compared to the others in the Freedom Fighters. He was a kid. And he
Yeah.
wasn't really in the line of action. He was obviously treated like a kid because he was one, and like it didn't really bother him. Like he did his best to participate, and that was fine. Like he was slowly becoming his own person, and I do appreciate that with some of the other games where he may not be in the line of action, but he's there enough to offer support and be there for Sonic. But he's not insufferable because I know some material recently has kind of turned Tails into like an insufferable know-it-all or incapable of
Yeah.
doing anything without Sonic, which kind of negates who he became. Because I know in the Sonic Adventure games, he went from that, like literally he couldn't do anything without Sonic, to becoming his own hero, like moving from sidekick to hero. And I don't know, just the backward steps they take for his character is just, it's not good. No one really likes this. It's something needs to change. Like I kind of liked the fanboy thing going on for Tails in the Sonic the Hedgehog movie too. I do appreciate that. I do appreciate where he actually was kind of like insecure and did learn to value himself as like something of a hero, but not quite. Like you see the beginnings of it, but you can tell there's something more going to be happening later on, and I'm excited for that. I hope Sonic 3 is where we get that for Tails in the movies. Or after. What about you?
In regards to the movie,
No, Tails.
Tails.
Miles Tails Prower.
Miles Dale's Prower.
Yup, that's his full name.
Yeah, I know that. I love his name so much. I mean, for me personally, I don't know. Not really sure how to feel about Tails.
Really, not at all.
Yeah.
He just kind of exists for you.
I mean, I think he's a good character, but
That's about it.
yeah.
It's fair.
I
So,
remember.
go ahead, Ruthless.
I remember the stuff. Like I don't remember exactly the material, but I remember one thing that made him so annoying. Annoying no wall.
To be fair, that's a lot of the modern material, it seems like. Because wasn't like, oh, what's it, Sonic Forces? Where, like, Sonic is thought to have been killed or something like that.
Yeah, that's Sonic Forces.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember watching some cutscenes from that, and like Tails is just so incapable of doing anything, like literally crying out for help, and I'm like, you're a fucking hero. Why aren't you doing something? Like you're a fucking genius. You're an inventor. Do something.
Yeah, I think he's like too obsessed with Sonic and Sonic Forces.
Yeah, but that's the problem. He kind of got over that in the earlier games, and like you know they kind of like dumb him down. It feels like he's supposed to be smart, but he feels like stupid at the same time.
I
Yeah,
mean,
like he could have even just
didn't they kind of have a lot of changes for a lot of the characters?
No, I did. Like again, like when I mentioned Shadow, like how he went from like this very not really withdrawn, but like introverted kind of guy who cares deeply for his friends to edgelord. Tails is another one where he went from this very young but capable hero to now being an insufferable know-it-all that can't really do anything without Sonic. Um,
like he didn't even join the Resistance in the beginning even.
yeah. And Knuckles is another one that they did dirty. So
He's just a himbo now at this point.
himbo.
Himbo! Is there something you're not
I've
telling
never
us, though?
thought To have
I'm
anyone describe Knuckles as a fucking himbo.
Is there
all
something
I-
you're not telling us?
that's all I've seen him described as at this point.
You do you, bud. You do you.
That's all I've seen him described as.
I've
I'm
seen
just
him
going based off of what
described
other
as
people have
like a
said.
meathead, a musclehead, that kind of stuff. Never a himbo.
Yeah, me, not a fucking himbo.
Like,
He's
oh my
not
gosh.
him though. He's more like the. I would have to say he strikes me more of the fish out of water duck.
Well, okay, so here's the thing though, Ruthless, and I think this is where we're kind of getting from with the. I'm not referring to the himbo, but Skull referring to the himbo, and me and Raptor saying more of a meathead slash musclehead, is because yes, in the beginning he's kind of shown as a fish out of water. He's gullible, naive, almost not quite.
Yeah.
He gets over that a little bit more than Silver does. Silver kind of retains that because he's kind of more like golden heart, child at heart kind of thing, whereas Knuckles kind of had to be the grown up. He had responsibilities. He had to watch over the Master Emerald. It was like his guardianship. He was the last of the echidnas, and so on and so forth. There was a lot riding on Knuckles for him to like, kind of grow up and mature, essentially. Um, but
I've also seen people say he went from badass to dumbass.
yes.
Badass to dumbass.
That's exactly where we're getting at, because like Knuckles, of course, is very strong and capable. He's a wielder of chaos, and like he's stubborn too. You see a lot of these too in the comics as well with his character. Though in addition to everything in the video games, in the comics he is also the leader of the Chaotix, which has a few more members in it. I think he was the leader of the Chaotix. I might be wrong on that, but it felt like he was the leader. Um, but he's definitely changed. I think the turning point was kind of '06, where he was kind of more of a background character. He wasn't on the forefront. And when he was around, he's just kind of dumbed down a little bit. Like there was one scene he shows up. I think it's the first time he showed up in the entire game, where he's showing Sonic this kind of like message from Eggman, and when Sonic throws it back at him, he fumbles and drops it, which I'm just like, okay. And then there's another scene later on where they're infiltrating Eggman's base, which I think is before they're sent into the future, mind you, where Sonic is the only one to land on his feet from being dropped from the ceiling. Tails, I think, lands on his butt, and then Knuckles lands on his face, which is a whole nother thing in itself, because like Tails can fly, and so can Knuckles. Knuckles can glide around.
Oh yeah, he can. I kind of forgot about that.
Which I think a lot of people tend to forget about that too in the later games, let's be honest. And then
Yeah.
Sonic Boom, obviously.
Yeah.
Though, to be fair, I kind of treat Sonic Boom cartoon as like a whole different universe, because like there's only those four, then there's Eggman, and it's just a whole different kind of vibe. Again, there's also Shadow too, but like it's Shadow. What else do you expect?
Of course, Sonic Boom's a whole different universe.
I mean, they
What are you
all
talking about?
are, but like you kind of get what I mean in that sense. Where like that Knuckles doesn't count because that Knuckles was made for that particular universe, essentially. Whereas
Oh yeah.
all the other Knuckles from all the other different kind of games still kind of devolved, essentially. Even in the some of like, though I think the one show I really remember him in, it was Sonic X, but he was more obsessive in that one, where he wanted to get back to the Master Emerald, which, if that's fair, because it's just kind of a part of what he is. He is the Guardian. He needs to protect it. So like I can understand that. And you still have the rivalry there with him and Sonic in Sonic X too. So no, yeah, he definitely gets dumbed down. Kind of treated as like a background character. You know, all that fun stuff. What do you guys think of Knuckles? Any thoughts?
I mean, honestly, I kind of liked Knuckles in Sonic Forces. With Sonic being presumed dead, It's like he really appointed himself to be the leader of the resistance, and he really came off as a leader.
Yeah, but didn't like when Sonic came back that Sonic completely took over?
Yeah, I think so. Knuckles may have had some said and some say in some things when Sonic returned. I'm not sure, but I think
Early,
yeah, Sonic is like the main picture when he comes back.
early Knuckles was cool.
Early Knuckles was cool. It's why I really appreciate the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movies, because it basically was early Knuckles, but you toss in a little bit of Starfire there because they're not on their planet, they're on Earth, so like he wouldn't know anything about Earth, so like
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
I love Knuckles in the second Sonic movie. He's fucking hilarious.
Ah, my victory chariot.
And also when he's reading the messages on that screen,
dot
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 dot.
dot. Why do you have this idiot with us?
uh,
Yeah, no, Knuckles was really good in the voice actor. I know some people had some issues with him, but I fucking loved him. I thought he was
hey,
great for Knuckles.
I love his voice.
I know it fits very perfectly for what Knuckles is supposed to be.
Exactly, that's what I was gonna say.
But so in talking about Knuckles, you also kind of get this one particular character. What do you guys think about Rouge?
Um,
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about her design. I think she's cool, but like,
Too much boob?
Yeah, it's
yeah.
pretty obvious what she was designed for.
I
Raptor,
mean,
are you gonna say anything else about these characters, Raptor?
I mean,
so
hey,
like
I'm not
design
the one that
is.
called Knuckles a himbo.
My gosh. All right, so design aside for Rouge, I don't mind that she's busty because I mean she's also a babe, so I'm not gonna complain. But at the same time, like I love what she is. She's a sly, sneaky little thief that will very
Yep.
gladly get whatever she wants. And I know she's kind of like at odds with Knuckles a lot because she wants the Master Emerald and he's the Guardian, so they kind of collide a lot, which I do like their chemistry and things like that. But
Also, I
People
would ship
ship
those two.
them.
people,
Really?
so I've seen two big ships for Rouge, and I don't fall into the Knuckles with Rouge because I'm the comic person and I like Knuckles with Julie Sue personally because I feel like they are a very nice match. The other one, which I tend to ship more, which judge me if you will, but it's Shadouge, which is Shadow and Rouge.
Shadow and Rouge,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, that
Don't
works a
they have
lot
like
better.
They have
a
a
little bit of
friendship.
thing in Sonic 06 as well?
I don't know
Or
about. Okay, it's been a while since Sonic 06. No, there's definitely a friendship there. Um,
oh.
where she's very because like when there's a scene where Omega confesses that he was built to like capture Shadow should he go rogue and that kind of thing and like go against humanity. And when like Rouge is there to hear that too, and she's like, "What? What do you mean?" And Shadow is just kind of hurt. Like he doesn't blame Omega, which I do appreciate that. Because it would have been so easily for him for them to write him like that, but they didn't. So I do appreciate that. But when Shadow's like walking away because he's like he wants to be sad boy alone time now. um, Rouge is like it doesn't matter what the world does to you, Shadow. I will always be here by your side. It's like kind of like a friendship, like a bond kind of thing. Like I can see where it comes off as romantic. I mean, look at me with Silver and Blaze. But I can definitely say it was more of a friendship. Just like it's like how I admit very easily, like with Silver and Blaze, it was definitely a friendship that they had. But you can very easily read romance into it. Very easily.
You know, hearing that, yeah, I can see her. I was one of those people. Just for like, granted, I wasn't that like I don't know much about the Sonic ships that well. So yeah, I was one, and when I was like and granted, I think the first Sonic show that I remember with Knuckles with Sonic X. I was like, in my head, I was like,
There was definitely some chemistry with Knuckles and Rouge there, because again, they still collided and everything. I remember their first interaction in the Sonic X um kind of show was when Rouge was helping the human, like the U.S. I guess it's technically the U.S. government, but like the human government essentially try to take down Eggman, and he was there too because I think emeralds and things like that, maybe like something to do with that. There's like Chaos Emerald or a Master Emerald, or like there was something there that he wanted, or he was just trying to show up Sonic, or whatever the case might be. But no, yeah, I remember that interaction. And I'm just like, the banter they have comes off as very interesting. I do appreciate them though. Like I can appreciate the ship for what it is, because like they do have some good moments. And I mean, I think in Sonic Adventure, I think it was, or it might be Sonic Adventure 2. I don't remember which one. I think no, I think it was Sonic Adventure, the first one, where I think there like it's kind of like a nudge for Knuckles to be shipped with Rouge in there. Because I think in one of like his songs during his stages, like it mentions Rouge being a sexy bat.
Yeah, that's
I don't remember that one, but I wouldn't be surprised if that happened.
Yeah, like I said,
I
I've
wouldn't be
never
surprised.
played it, but I've watched some people like comment on it. And I'm just like, interesting. Okay, moving on. But no, I really appreciate what Rouge is. I mean, she's a good friend to Shadow. She's always like kind of there for him. Like they obviously do have good chemistry again. Like they, and even in the comics, they have the Team Dark, because like I mean, obviously something was done right there where they have like the three of them. You don't see Rouge collide with Knuckles too often in the comics, though, because well, she's got other priorities. Let's be honest. Uh, I do appreciate though what they have in the video games, and I guess in some of the shows, but like and Knuckles only really shows up in Sonic X, so like and that was a very goofy show anyway. So,
Yeah,
but
it really was.
I appreciate Rouge for what she is. She's a fun character. Yes, she's interestingly designed, but like I liked her. Say what you will, but I like her. And again, I'm also a ride or die Shadow shipper, so fight me.
Hmm.
I mean, like, any other thoughts on Rouge from you guys? I mean, come on. Other than her design, Raptor.
Now that might be the odd one out. I just don't mind because I've seen a lot of weird shit.
Yeah, okay. So I mean, first of all, for being comic book people, I think we both seen some weird ass shit anyway.
Yeah.
I definitely thought that it was interesting that she was a bat. Considering how limited they've been, or at least from like what I've seen, they're like relatively limited in what races or species, I guess, the animals and characters are.
I think that just kind of depends on what material you're kind of digesting too, because obviously you're gonna see a lot of hedgehogs because it's Sonic the Hedgehog. You're gonna see a lot of hedgehogs. Amy's a hedgehog. Sonic Shadow Silver. Um, Probably a few others I'm not thinking about that aren't comics, because comics. Because I will say, when you read the comics that were distributed by Archie, I like I said, I haven't read the new one, so I can't really vouch for this, but you do see a lot of variety in the comics. You see Jeffrey the skunk, Bunny Rabbit, Antoine the coyote. Let me think. Sally was a chipmunk. I think her brother might have been no. They had Ray the squirrel, Mighty the armadillo. I think Mighty and Ray were in the OG video games too. Nick the weasel, Honey the cat, which you have Blaze the cat too. So I mean, like, there's definitely variety, but it was more for the comics almost too. Because then like you also have like Mina the mongoose, Nicole the lynx, and things like that. Like there was variety in the comics, but no, for the video games they tend to stick to the main cast because it's just easier to build a brand around an established set of characters. But then when you do things like comics, you kind of need more, like more variety. Like you have to fill the worlds essentially. Which
Yeah.
Ruthless, I'm pretty sure you understand this.
Yeah. Like DC is the biggest. Like DC and Marvel is the best example for it.
Exactly. But It essentially is just that like so if you ever like look at the comics, you'd see a lot more variety than you do in the video games. But they definitely did dive into it with the comics, which I do appreciate. But I have to say, even with reading the comics, I think Rouge is the only bat I ever saw, but I don't really remember too well. So yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if her back like there was like something planned that Rouge has is like the only that.
Wait, I don't think she. Well, she was the only bat of her design, I think, because I remember in the saga where it was the Technomancer from the ninja clans came over, there was a ninja bride of a clan of bats, but they weren't like rouge type bats. They had like the wings on their arms set up on their back, kind of thing. But like something of the same design, but they were like purple skinned instead. So like they were definitely different from Rouge, but they were still bats of some degree. But that's about it, because you had the Lynx clan, you had the Chameleon clan, you had the Bat clan. There was a fourth clan. I can't remember what it was, but yes. There were some other bats that I remember, but they weren't Rouge bats. They were other bats. But no, it's like I kind of have to agree with Scully. It's kind of interesting she is a bat because she's kind of unique for a bat as it is. Yeah.
I don't know why, but I find her wings kind of like the one thing about the design I don't mind. Like I think is interesting is the way the bat wings look. I don't know why.
I have to look real quick because I don't remember off the top of my head. Because I remember when I was younger, and obviously I drew Sonic fan art, yada yada yada. I remember I always drew her wings wrong. Always. Um. Yeah, no. Why can't people just see? I want to see the wings. That's all. But no. Okay, I see the. Yeah, no. I mean, they're wings. I have no other
I
things to
don't know
say
why.
about that. They're just wings.
Grant, I might be thinking of. Let me look at it so I can remember if I'm remembering it correctly. Oh, yeah, it's just normal. But it's just practically almost like double wings.
Pretty
Like the
much.
yeah.
But yeah. So any other thoughts on Rouge?
Bust.
Oh my gosh.
Uh,
You guys say I have no standards.
Hey,
oh,
Raptor's the only one who's saying anything about, Rouge being a bussy ass bitch. Because apparently that's the only thing he can see is boobs.
I mean, I don't really even know a lot about Rouge. There's not a lot of games that I experienced again.
I had something to say, and I've only played like one game in the series. So let's. I don't think that's the greatest excuse, Raptor.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, for starters, I tried to I absolutely try to forget about Sonic Force's even mere existence, and they don't even there's not even a lot for like the other characters in Sonic Generations. It's just mainly the two Sonics and the the main villains.
Uh-huh. All I hear is essentially just a string of excuses.
Hey, I'm not the one that called Knuckles a fucking himbo.
You really need to use that escape. You really are trying to use it so you can dodge it. Okay?
Don't be a dick, Raptor.
You guys
Hey,
are,
you're being a dick first.
Alright, alright, alright. So, moving on, trying to trying to think of some of these other ones that let's see. What do we have here? So a lot of these are from games you guys haven't even played or probably even heard of. Because if you don't even know fucking Rouge, then
Well, I actually don't. I remember one game that I think had her in there. I don't remember the
Sonic
name.
06 had her. I think Sonic Adventure might have had her.
She was
Sonic
definitely in Sonic.
Heroes.
She was in Sonic Adventure 2 for sure.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
she was in quite a few games, just the earlier games.
Hey, I kind of have a feeling that the reason why she's not as present in as seen in present games is probably her design. And
Well, here's the thing: if they wanted, they could easily adjust it. Very easily.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, at least as of late, when it comes to like big chested characters in revivals of shows, instead of like adjusting the character designs more often than not, they've just opted to get rid of the character because it's easier and typically has less backlash.
Well, I think that I can see them doing that, but the big issue is you've got a lot of Sonic fans who grew up with the older games, and Rouge is just such a big part of certain characters' development, especially when it comes to Shadow, and especially when you have a fan base that is dedicated to shipping Rouge with certain characters, especially,
Yeah.
and it's just she has a big impact, and as much as they may want to try to sweep her under the rug, it's going to take a long time for them to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it doesn't even, like, because, like, when it comes to complaints and stuff, the only thing they'd really need to do is just, like, slightly alter her outfit, really. I don't see any issue
Or just
with.
take away her boobs.
Well, yeah.
That's all you really gotta do.
Yeah, it's like you have two very simple solutions, but, for whatever reason, people like to just get rid of characters instead.
I mean, hell, even in like the Archie comics, like she didn't have as big of a bust as she would have in the video games. Like, is that she actually was flattened out quite a bit for the comics.
Hmm.
Funny enough. Like, I
Makes
mean,
sense.
I've seen some of the earlier comics. She had a bit of some boobs, but no, yeah, she was definitely flattened out. Like, holy fuck. I didn't realize that. Yeah, she was flattened. So they're like, if they can do it for the Archie comics, I'm sure they can do it very easily for the video games.
Yeah.
Because, like, hold up, let me get this. I think this is probably the best image I've found so far of, like, the Archie comics version. Nope, no, this is a better one. Oh, hold up here. Boop, boop, boop. Alright, hold up here. Let me find the Discord chat. Do, 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 do,
Think
do.
about it. I think she's like a decent. Like I think I'm just remembering. Yeah, I thought younger me was like, yeah, like the mischievous nature of her, but I was like confused with
Oh,
the
it's
design.
cute! Ah!
Okay,
Hmm.
that one I downloaded it.
So this is the Rouge I'm more familiar with, obviously, because comics and whatnot. But like, no, yeah, she was. You can tell she was kind of flattened out for the comics.
It's
Yeah.
not it's not that hard to do.
It really isn't. But I mean, try telling Japan that. So
Yeah. Japan gotta have their boobs.
oh my gosh.
Raptor, shame.
I mean, it's true though.
I mean, I would even say almost every country. Like almost every country, like wants some type of form of that. If you think about it for a minute.
But also when you
Uh,
think about it, pets also symbolize fertility and are like seen as that kind of stuff in those kind of cultures as very like beings of fertility and things like that. So take that what you will. So it kind of makes sense to her design because you know that kind of stuff.
that makes sense. I also, yeah, also
Yeah.
I just see it as like, yeah, They're trying to make it more marketable. Marketable.
I mean, to be fair, at this point, it feels like they only want like the more guy characters. Because I mean, these I didn't really see very many outside of like Amy that keep reappearing.
I mean, with Sonic Boom, they had Twig or whatever her name was, but
We don't talk about Twig though, or whatever her name was. We
it
don't
was
talk.
it was something it was something branch related.
You still don't talk about her. She's basically like Marine, which doesn't say much. Like I haven't seen her reappear either. Like you had some really good characters that appeared and then were kind of left to the spin-off games because like Blaze actually appeared before Sonic 06. She was in Sonic Rush and Sonic Rush 2. Sonic Rush Adventure 2? I don't know, Sonic Rush 2 basically. Where Sonic actually goes to her world and helps her get back her soul emeralds to defeat like I guess a pirate robot thing. I don't remember. It was a weird thing. But I mean, you see that in the Archie comics too, where she's like a seafaring kind of princess fighting these like pirate robots and things like that. So like again, it kind of makes sense why they got rid of Blaze at the end of Sonic 06, making her go off to her actual dimension where she becomes a princess. But I'm just like, but Silver, damn it. Anyway, I will never have recovered from that. But like you have Blaze, who's a very strong character, which would be fun. I mean, she appears again in the comics, like in the reboot comics they made for Sonic. They actually have Silver and Blaze together, which is all should be all the more reason for me to read it, but I don't. It's just not the same.
Damn, you're that stubborn. Damn, that's
Yes, I
stubborn.
know. I'm that upset over it. I'm just like I could have all these characters together. I could have it all, but I just it's not the same.
I mean, I can kind of see that. Like, it's a relatable thing with other
Other kind of
um
franchises.
yeah,
Pretty much. So yeah, at least Skull gets it. Thank you, Skull.
of course,
Oh
no
my
Admittedly,
problem.
gosh.
admittedly, I will say this: if something majorly triggers me, like majorly, and it's very hard way to make me super petty. But if you do achieve it somehow, I will definitely not want to play any of the other games or read anything other than the original shit.
I feel that. I can get that way with some things, but no, it's the comics with me. Like I could have it all. I could have what I want, but like
It
I can't.
doesn't feel the
Guys,
same.
I'll be right back. I gotta do something real quick.
You could have just muted. You weren't contributing to the conversation as is.
Fuck
Yeah.
you.
All right, children, behave. Anyway, but no, yeah, like outside of Amy, you don't really see anyone come back that's female. You see a lot of the guys. You see Sonic. You see, oh, of course, you're gonna say Sonic. You see Shadow. I've seen Silver a few times. Obviously, you're gonna have Knuckles and Tails because like they're like mainstays of the franchise and so on and so forth. I mean, I definitely remember Amy. Amy's one of the only girls I remember. But I don't know. Ruthless, what about you? Can you think of any other like girls that come back in the games? I mean, obviously, like Rouge was there in the beginning of the franchise. You had Cream
Yeah.
too, which I can kind of see why they get rid of Cream because Cream's like a kid, and you don't really need her for a lot of stuff, and she kind of just she's kind of forgettable. I'm not gonna lie. Like she's easy to remember in the Sonic X show because like she's part of the main cast, but like it's not much outside of that. Kind of same with Big the Cat. Like he's just there. They're just there.
Frog.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, moving on from Frog. We're not getting into that. You have an obsession with frogs. It's very unhealthy. As he continues to laugh. We're
Which
out.
is the Sonic comic that I hear a lot about.
So the one I'm talking about was the one that was released by Archie Publications, Archie Comic Publications, I believe. It was the one of the longest running comics. I think for like video games, I believe it had that kind of title for a long time until it finally like ended that run of comics, and then obviously it started again because the comics were quite valuable. Well, not really. I can't say valuable, but like they were quite popular, I guess. Enough, because I mean, yeah. But I think also another reason why I don't read the new ones, which I don't know who publishes them or distributes them, but
Let's Google it.
I'll let you guys do that. But while I talk, but another big reason why even having Silver and Blaze in the same like universe, same world, I think what ultimately kills it for me is there is no Sally, there is no Nicole, Bunny, Antoine, there's no freedom fighters. It's not that world I grew up with and just fell in love with. Like, maybe I'm a little blinded by nostalgia, but I just loved the characters so much. Sally was like a kick ass, mature, smart princess. Bunny was a southern belle that could easily throw down. Like, I loved her. And Nicole was just, oh, the AI that wanted to like live essentially kind of thing. I'm like, oh my gosh. So, yeah.
Alright. To answer your question about the comics, it's a company under IDW Publishing.
Huh. All right.
And they only recently, like, I say recently, it was like 2018 that they started doing the publishing.
Okay. There's that answer. So, the one I fell in love with was the one that was published by Archie. And again, it is a wild ride. Like holy hell. Like you're going to get
Well,
teen drama, dark themes, all that fun stuff. I mean, there's still some of that in the new one, but like it's not the same
it's not the
characters.
same.
It's not the same. It's not the same
Yeah.
world. It's not
But
the Saturday morning cartoon world. It doesn't have the nut hole freedom fighters. It doesn't have all that.
I
It's
mean,
not
I
the
guess that
same.
makes it definitely makes sense when you've got like 24 years of story lore.
Basically, right?
Like that's almost a little any longer, like
200
20,
plus
30.
comics.
Yeah.
Like you're definitely gonna have fans that are gonna be very attached to that kind of stuff. I'm one of those fans. Like I'm very upset we didn't get the conclusion to some of the things. And oh my
Until like
gosh.
that's basically taking a story and throwing it away.
Yeah, especially when it was a good story. Like I know it was teen drama, it was very cheesy, and it had that, but it had some good plot points. It had some good dark stuff too, and I'm just like, I love this. I love it so much because you had like the main run of comics. You had the Sonic X comics, and they brought in the Sonic Universe comics, which was like side comics for the main run. And I'm just like, I love this. I really do.
Mm,
It was great.
I mean, that's an understandable thing. I mean, a lot of people were very similar when Ninjago started with a new animation company. It was very similar reaction.
I believe it. I really do. I can't remember watching like the main series of that and then watching the movie, and I'm like, what the fuck am I watching?
I
I
mean, the movie
I know
isn't canon. It's
I
like a
know that.
joke.
Oh yeah. Remember when Ruthless got upset when we said that the miraculous one was gonna be non-canon? The miraculous awakening. That was great. Someday soon, we're coming for miraculous next. Stay tuned.
Oh, oh, that one has got to be. And I'm going to try to force myself to watch more of the. I'm going to try to get myself to watch the season 4 because
I
I'm like,
kind of want to see if I can watch more. I mean, if I was able to sacrifice my sanity to Homestuck, I'll be fine with this too. Maybe.
So long as it's on Canadian Netflix.
Oh, it is.
Oh, well, there you go. Watch it. I can tell you right now, Skull, you're gonna fall in love with Cat Noir immediately if you're not already in love with him. Well, we'll have to talk about that a little bit after we finish up here, but
Alright, I'm back.
Alright, perfect timing. Is there anything else we want to talk about Sonic wise?
Actually, yeah. This is like a little fan-made thing, but is anyone familiar with Sonic for Hire from Lowbrow Studios?
What?
Okay, so there's this YouTube web series. It's a fan-made thing.
Wait, is it the fandom of Sonic Adventure?
No, this is something else.
The
It's
disappointment.
called Sonic for Hire. It kind of starts out as like, Sonic and Tails are roommates. Sonic can't pay rent. He needs to get off his lazy ass, get a job. He gets
Okay,
jobs in
let's
all these
move
different video games.
on.
Hey, look, it's got good humor. I don't explain shit well.
I mean,
Just-
if I wanted to watch or read anything of that caliber, it wouldn't be from Sonic. I will say that right now.
Hey, I can tell you right now, it's really good.
I don't
Just
care.
watch it. Just watch it before you make any judgments.
I
only-
judge the Sonic fandom before anything else because this is
Yeah.
probably one of the weirdest fandoms for me to actually like say I am proudly part of it. Because here's my biggest thing: I loved Sonic when I was younger. It was still that kind of thing that as I got older, people kind of were like, "Why do you like this? It's for kids," kind of thing. And even now, as an adult going into my late 20s, I look back at the franchise and I'm like, I like the characters, but I can't actively partake in this fandom because of all the kids.
Yeah. My only reason why I enjoy the Sonic Adventure fandom is because it's purely satire.
Okay, when it's satire, that's fun. That's fun. I'll give it
Yeah.
that. A lot of the YouTube videos I watch are satires where they, you know, critique on videos and things like movies and things like that in a satirical fashion. So like I can understand that. I'm a fan of satire myself. But no, like trying to like actively like take part in the fandom is just hard because you're dealing with kids and maladjusted adults.
Oh yeah, the Sonic fandom is.
It's a very weird
Oh.
one. It's like it's not like saying like I can proudly say I'm part of like MLB or even Steven Universe. Even though those are more like geared towards kids, especially Miraculous Ladybug. Miraculous is very much made for kids, but oddly enough, I have no issue with saying I'm part of the Miraculous Ladybug fandom. But when it comes to Sonic, I'm just like, I don't know, man. It's kind of weird.
At least it's not one of. Is Sonic fandom kind of like Homestuck in the regard of like you enjoy the media, but the fandom is something you wouldn't want to touch with a 50-foot pole?
Pretty much, because okay, so I like to indulge in fan art, like more looking at it than actually like drawing it, because I've paid my dues. I can't do fan art as much anymore, but I do enjoy seeing what people come up with. But there's a limit, and a lot of what I like is the more like soft, fun, or like cool, badass kind of stuff. But I feel like with
So
Sonic, you get a lot more of that
weird
very
fan
weird.
art.
Like, don't ever look up Blaze the Cat, or probably even Rouge the
Oh.
Bat for that matter.
Yeah. Even
Like,
even Amy is kind of like a character you really shouldn't look up.
Yeah, and like not to mention, it's one of those where like it's not made for shipping, but the fandom ships everyone with everyone. Like I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure Sonic is shipped with every single character.
Yeah,
Oh, probably.
yeah.
I mean, I don't really have any room to talk when it comes to that with one of the fandoms I'm in. I mean, you could probably guess which one.
Yeah.
Hey, Pete.
But I continue.
But yeah, I don't know. It seems like a lot of fandoms, and it's unavoidable. Even if a fandom is definitely not made for shipping, people are always gonna ship characters.
Which, like, that's fine. But then when, like, a lot of the fan art that you get is the very questionable, cursed kind of stuff, I'm just like, why? I don't want this. I want cool. I want badass. Like, I
Yeah.
I want things I would get with, like, don't get me wrong, you get some weird shit with Miraculous, but you get some really cool
Oh
stuff
yeah.
with Miraculous too. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, the
Yeah.
fans make the better stuff than the actual professionals.
Yeah.
Professionals in
Yeah.
quotes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much the same with a lot of franchises, though.
Yeah, but like Sonic gets that especially too, because I mean, I guess one of the big things I always remember seeing amongst like the Google search and whenever you do that kind of stuff, you always see
Oh,
like the focus on feet, and I'm like, why?
yeah,
It's not feet and it's other strange things, but when it comes to the other strange things, you can just blame early 2000s media for like all the weird episodes.
That's true. I
Um,
mean, there's still some weird stuff that comes out regardless when it comes to the Sonic franchise. Well, the franchise, like the Sonic fandom. I mean, I remember this is back when I was like still in high school, mind you, in like the early 2010s. I remember seeing this image of like Silver sleeping, kind of sleeping. He was trying to go to sleep, but Blaze was like in the background. He's like, "Sorry, Blaze, no sex tonight." I'm like, "What the fuck?"
What the fuck?
I'm just
What
like,
in the actual fuck?
and then I remember at the time, like a DeviantArt, I guess moot, we can call it. I wouldn't really say friend, but like moot. Um, it was like very much of a Sylvace shipper as I was, and they were like, "Hey, can you read this for me and tell me what you think?" And it was basically NSW Sylvace.
oh boy.
It's
God.
basically erotica. I'm like, okay. I've learned a whole bunch of new things. my fragile mind was not ready for that, but okay.
I mean, that's the kind of rating I do for fun when I'm like really tired, but it's not something that I would willingly expose you guys to.
Yeah, but then like the Sonic characters too, I'm just like, this is
Yeah.
weird. I don't want to think about them having dicks or anything like that.
Oh my god.
You're-
Jeff's reactions are making us sad.
it is making it fun. The fandom's really weird when it comes to art and all that kind of stuff. But like, on one hand, I get it because like obviously it's kids, it's tweens coming into their adolescence, so they're gonna be exploring that kind of stuff with like safe characters essentially. And unfortunately, Sonic is gonna be in that kind of thing. Same with like Pokemon. I don't know why, but Pokemon
Oh,
doesn't seem that bad. Like I can handle seeing like a busty Gardevoir versus like whatever comes out
yeah.
of the Sonic franchise, Sonic
Man.
fandom.
For Raptor's reaction to Ruse earlier, his sudden shift in demeanor is kind of comedic.
It really is. Like we have no problem pointing out a busty bat, but then when we start talking about the weird stuff that the fandom does when it comes to like NSFW kind of stuff, it's just Raptor's just like nope, he noped out of here.
Good.
But no, yeah, like you guys kind of get what I mean, right? Like it's no problems coming from other fandoms. Like I said with Pokemon, I have no problem seeing like a busty Gardevoir or like I don't know, like other kind of stuff, like Lucario and Zoroark and that kind of stuff. Yes, I know. Like I have no problem with that. But then like you look at Sonic stuff and you're like, this makes me very uncomfortable because I guess it's more geared for kids, more for kids.
Yeah. There are definitely some fandoms where it's just like you see anything that's like remotely adult and it's just an immediate yikes.
Yes. And then there's those fandoms where like you should have that reaction, but then you don't, and you're like, something's not right here. But we ignore that.
Okay, one thing I'll admit, I had it in my one of my docs, and I was like so tired. I was like so out of it, and I was like, you know what? For shits and giggles, and just to laugh, I'll make a very cursed ending for myself to just read it and just laugh at it.
Well, I mean, the Cursed is a little different compared to like what these adolescents are drawing. It's deviant art material, essentially.
I mean, that shit can still be cursed. I mean, it still is cursed.
Yeah, but like if you're making it with the intention of it being like cursed or meme or that kind of stuff, like that's a whole different intent. But if
And
you're
then
What?
drawing it to explore certain things, that's probably stuff you don't want to really post. Maybe
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, but like to be fair, I kind of view people who do that kind of just post or just really want to feel the pain. Because
I
I
think it
know
also
a
depends
person.
on the person too, because like I get it. There are people like you, Ruthless, who have absolutely no problem making cursed ass shit for the like that's the point. It's cursed. It's funny. It's a joke. You're trying to like troll and things like that. Like I get that.
Oh,
And
shitpost
like
is totally different, though.
yeah, shitposting is totally different. I mean, I think Skull really understands what I'm saying here in this regard.
I get
But I get you do too, Ruthless. I don't know about Raptor over there, but no, ship posting is very different in terms of
I mean,
you see it
I
everywhere
do.
too.
Yeah.
Like you can kind of tell when something was made to be like a shit post, but then there's other times where you can tell where it's like, oh no, kind of thing. Again, like whenever I've commented about how like whenever you Google search some of these Sonic characters, the first thing you see is an emphasis on feet.
Yeah, like what I saw on Rouge is like what
You're
the
cutting in
fuck.
and out again.
Especially with the Sonic shit, like what the fuck.
Yeah.
Ruthless, come in. You are
Oh my
cutting out.
gosh. Raptor. Leave it be. It's fine. I'm gonna be honest.
After being that guy again,
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna leave that there. But no, yeah, I would have to say as someone who is definitely at that point of adulthood, or at least pretending to be at that point of adulthood, because you never actually feel like an adult. Life advice right there.
Yeah.
It feels very weird trying to associate with the Sonic fandom when you know. Like I love the character still. It does feel a little weird to say sometimes that I still like Silver, but then I have no issue saying I like Sylvaise. So like I don't know, it's a double standard kind of, but
You're tickling my arm.
but no, yeah, it's a very it's a
when it
weird
comes to
fandom.
when it comes
Yeah.
to fandoms and like the fandoms you guys are in, especially from me, you guys won't get a lot of judgment. I mean, I can't say anything about like other people, but I definitely won't judge for your fandoms. Excuse me for a minute.
Oh, you're fine. And I mean, I think for quite a few of us, we don't really interact with a lot of our fandoms anymore. I'm probably a little bit of an exception to that normal rule for myself because like I haven't really interacted with the fandom as I have
I mean,
with like Sonic and even Steven Universe as I have with Miraculous Ladybug recently. But that's only just because I'm taking that plunge in writing the fan fiction,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, eh.
I mean,
I can't say anything. I took a long break from fandom, and I'm starting to get back into actually interacting with them.
It's weird, isn't it?
It's I don't know. For me, it's not really weird. It feels nice and almost kind of liberating getting to actually talk about like the material with people who know what the material is.
Well, I think that's kind of the hard thing there. Like the last time I was able to talk with anyone like this was with the Steven Universe fandom, because I mean it was all fresh in our minds. What do you expect? But no, like I can't really do that with Miraculous Ladybug too much because like everyone has so much wildly different thoughts on the show. So it's like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, it
I
really is.
mean, I personally don't just. I don't interact with fandoms in general because
Well, here's the thing. It can be good to interact with people who share a same interest as you and be able to talk about, that particular interest together. Because I'll be honest, when I was interacting with people back when I was more in the Sonic fandom as a kid, or even during my time with the Steven Universe fandom, it felt really nice having a community that I could, talk with about these kind of things. But I would definitely have to say I can't be part of the Sonic fandom anymore. I can still obviously the characters and the art and things like that, but I can't actively participate with other people in the fandom. not, not like I will be doing with other stuff, but we don't talk about that. But, I would have to say, Raptor, if anything, I would say for you to actually try and talk, or at least get into the fandoms. Because I think it's kind of what Skull was getting at, where it's fun to be able to talk with other people. And I do agree. It really is fun. It's nice to have a community that you can share a common interest with. And then you
Yeah.
find friends amongst that community even more, which makes it even better. And then
I'm getting really I'm getting really big into the headcanon part of the fandom, which is always really fun. And
oh
just
my gosh,
getting to hear other
when
people's
you're there,
opinions
you've
too.
made it, right?
Yeah. I've had fun. It's definitely fun, especially seeing other people politely be like, yo, that's a stupid headcanon, and here's why it wouldn't hold up, and instead of
And
just the outright hostile, no, that could never possibly be canon, you're dumb for thinking that.
oh my, like we were with Raptor when he's like, "Here's my
Yes.
theory: Sully died at the end of Monsters Inc."
Yeah, exactly.
hey, that's a valid theory.
No, it's not.
Where's your proof?
Where's your proof?
You have to be tripping if that's the case.
I kind of agree with Ruthless. There's just are you sure you're not smoking something? Because
I don't fucking smoke. It's a valid theory.
no, it's not.
It's not.
You got you had the entire server. Because even when we told everyone else what you thought, Raptor, they're like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?"
Well, you're not thinking about it the way I do.
No,
Where
we
give
heard you.
okay.
You're still stupid.
I mean, I will hear you out when you can give me solid proof as to how your theory comes to be.
Especially considering there's a TV show,
Yeah.
Monsters at Work, which is pretty much following what happened in Monsters Inc.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
$10 says that's the only way he'll drop this theory. Oh my gosh. But anything Sonic related you guys want to talk about?
Is Big the Cat a joke character? I need to know.
I feel like he is.
I just I don't know. I enjoy frogs, but I can't take Big seriously. That's
I
why I
don't
had
think
to ask.
anyone can. I'll be honest. I never did. And I really don't think anyone ever does.
Who
It's
does?
just exactly who does. But aside from, go ahead.
Didn't he get his own little story in one of the Sonic Adventure games?
I think the first one because I think his frog became chaos or something like that, or was possessed by chaos. I don't know. I remember the frog had something to do with chaos. The water creature. That's about the only thing I remember though. So yeah, he kind of did, but it was more his frog, I guess. Yeah, I don't really remember it all that well.
That's great. I'm tempted to look into that just to see what the entire joke is, other
I
than
know
the frog
in
becoming
Sonic
chaos.
X they did a whole Sega or arc. I guess arc's probably the best thing. They did a whole arc about that too, where chaos. They have to fight chaos and all that. They also did obviously the shadow thing too. So I mean, if anything, you probably just watch the Sonic X series.
I should. I think I might have watched some of it when I was younger, but it's not I wasn't old enough to remember. Or it's just like
It's
one of those things you forget the time.
it's been burned into my head. It's actually kind of good. I enjoyed it personally. Would I go back and watch it? Maybe. But I'm not going to anytime soon, so. But anyone else? Comments, questions, concerns?
I'll do it for me.
All right. You too, Ruthless Skull.
I think I've got enough now.
You had
This
your
was
fun.
yeah.
Ruthless, have you had your fun?
That's not enough.
Set enough. All right. Well, we're gonna end it here. This has been episode 9. We've been talking about Sonic. Woo! Who doesn't love Sonic, right?
Hey.
But you guys all have a good night, morning, evening, whatever the case may be.